Hi, Moni.
Good morning. How are
Crazy,
you?
good, kind of crazy times, but I'm good.
Well, I'm glad to
I
see you.
I hope everyone shows up.
Yeah, well, you sent out the messages, so I think so.
Well, for better or for worse, it wasn't me because I was on a bus, and I called my son and said, "Please let them know I'll be half an hour late." And I dictated the thing to him. So I got here and I read the message and I'm like, you told them an hour in the beginning and then half an hour in the text, and now I don't know what'll happen. Half of them won't show up till 10. So then I have to set another one going, hour. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
all good. It's all good.
Kids, kids.
Yeah.
You do your best. And these are responsible ones too.
Right.
Anyway, hi Amy. Hi Patricia. Hi Shelley. Two people told me they can't make it, so I'm not sure how many more we'll have, so that's good. So thank you guys. Sorry for the stuff. And this behind me is my son's uh place in Berkeley. It's a
Ah,
studio, and I can't even turn around to the other side because it's a studio he shares with two people, and it's a disaster. So the kitchen's a little bit better. Because he's anyway, long story. He's shooting a film, and we just brought a truck with all kinds of props and art pieces and stuff last night. I got here at 2 a.m.
oh,
and I had to return the car this morning because we're gonna return home with just a car. And so it was a rented thing. So they didn't open the office until 8:30. So I was there at 8:30 to return it, but then there were three people ahead of me, and then I had to leave there, go take the bus. And so I'm on the bus going, Santi, please email and say that I'm going to be half an hour late. In the end, I walked into the building at 9:02. So because the bus suddenly was really fast, but I didn't know that. And so I walked in and I look at the email he sent, and he had said, class is 1 hour late. I'll meet you at 9:30. And I'm like, no, it was half an hour and not an hour. But by then I didn't know if people had taken off and would show up at 10. So I had to send another one going hour late. So anyway, sorry about that. Here I am in good old Berkeley. Gorgeous day. Pouring rain on the drive up yesterday, but gorgeous day today. So that was the long version of the I'll explain later. That was the explanation. So I'm really sorry. And on top of that, since the shoot starts this afternoon and I'm going to be doing audio and stuff on it, I can't actually work late today to kind of catch it up. So if you're all okay with it, I'm happy staying next Friday late if you can. And if you can't, catch up on email. Sorry, this was completely unexpected. I thought we had it all planned out that I'd slide in here. Um, but I didn't count on three other people needing to return their cars before me. How many people can return a car in the morning after all? All right. So there we go. And oh, there's some
I have a
batteries.
question.
Yeah.
So, I just got the
Oh.
notice from Adobe so that I could get my account, and their login is different than it has been in the past. And so my question is,
Log
when you
into it.
to sign when you're first signing in for the very first time, it has a choice of the FCC Foundation for
Oh,
California
that's
or
true.
the
Now,
City
yeah,
College, right?
FCCC.
Okay, that's what I wanted to double check,
Mhm.
so I didn't click anything until
Yeah, I should. If you see, can you do a screenshot if you
yeah,
see that? Because I want to put the add that, but since I don't do that, and yeah, a couple of people told me about that, and it's FCCC. But
yeah.
I need to put that little screenshot there because up until now it said personal or City College, and now it says FCCC or City College.
Okay, I'll
I've
email that
heard,
to you.
but I haven't seen it. All
Okay.
right. So, given all of the emails and the ins and outs, maybe this is it. Maybe this is us. I don't remember how many people were here last time, to say the truth, compare, but hopefully we'll get going. So, I have a special project for us. Shelly emailed me. Hey, Shelly, lift your hand, say hi, this is Shelly. She emailed me earlier this week and said she had to recreate this flyer for her husband's work. And she needed some suggestions and some tips. And I said, this is a perfect kind of, oh, by the way, horrible carpal tunnel that I got creating the sculptures that are in the movie today. And so driving up with these things is the worst thing ever, but I'm going to do my best to type for them. I haven't had it this bad since I was pregnant, so bad. I was making this stuff all weekend last weekend and I'm still hurting. Anyway, she needed to recreate a flyer. And since it's practicing exactly the kind of stuff that we need, and I always like working with real stuff more than, invented stuff. I asked her permission for using in class and she said, yay. Now, you sent me all the information yesterday when I was driving to Berkeley. So I didn't see it until this morning, because that's how life is. So I downloaded everything that you sent me, and and you had asked me some questions about typing the text, and I didn't get to answer to you. So the ideal answer would have been yes, please type out the text. But we have time. You can have you do that. But she sent me 3 files that I uploaded into our class files. So if everyone can go into their class files right now, that would be very helpful. And I'm going to share my screen. What's that?
The quality looked like really bad from my end. Was it okay? The files were okay?
Well, yes and no. That's why we're going to go ahead. No, the quality is pretty bad, but that's why we're going to go and see, because this is so true of how jobs happen. The client, you, yourself, your husband, in this case, is the person says, I need this. And you're like, okay, how do I do this? And they give you what they have. And what they have is usually a disaster or not good or incomplete. And this is perfect because this is a real job and this is how it happens. And sometimes you can use some of it. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're left with having to figure it out with what you've got, right? So anyway, go ahead and I'm already in the digital design techniques folder. Go ahead and head in. When you get to the digital techniques folder, let me know. If you don't remember, you go into Pipeline. Then from Pipeline, you head into Google Drive. And once you're in Google Drive, you click on Shared Drives. And once you're in Shared Drives, you can open Digital Design Techniques.
Yeah, I had to go back.
Give me a yes when you guys are all there. And Shelly, you actually have the files as you sent them to. But we're going to open them through Bridge so we can explore them. I need to ask you because 2 of them are the same but in 2 formats, and then one is a small JPEG, but it's a different flyer. So you need to explain to me a little bit what it is. And I wrote down all the specs that you explained, and so we're going to do that. Right now, I'm just waiting for everyone to get here. Once you get here, I have a folder called To Catch Up. You can open it up and download all 3 files at a time, or you can just right-click and download the folder To Catch Up. Maybe I'll change the name. I'll call it Shelly's husband's flyer.
I just wanted to say to Shelly, I've seen in the past your amazing studio. I'm totally jealous.
What do you mean her amazing studio? Like what's behind her?
Yeah, I mean, it's so nicely organized and she has all of her, I mean, it just looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you. It's my happy place. I hide in here.
Well, I can tell. It's great. I want one.
I want a happy place to hide in.
You can come play with me. I have lots of fun stuff.
I love that. Anyway, so Shelly's husband's flyer, right click and download that whole thing, and then it'll be in your downloads folder. So now what we're going to do when we go to Bridge, we're going to go search for it. But I need a yes when you're done and you have it downloaded so that I'll know that I'm ready to continue. So I need to hear from Amy and Patricia. Shelly, I'm assuming you have the files, but if you just want to download this folder so we're at the same place, it's all in the same place with everyone, you can do that, but you have them because you send them to me.
So I'm just
else. Yes.
I was just gonna say, I'm just on my phone and I'm going to, I'm
Oh.
following along, but I will not be doing this till I'm back home. So I'll be
Okay.
watching the recording, but yeah, I'm watching
Okay.
how you all are doing it.
Good. Then it's just Patricia who got it and Moni who got it. So, okay, ready. So let me switch my share. I'm gonna have, I opened up Bridge, Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign. I opened up everything because I wasn't sure right now what we're gonna be using, but for now, at least, let's start with Bridge because I have questions for Shelly. Oh, wait, one more thing I need to share, which is my notes. Because that's where I put the notes of what you told me I need to do, which is this. Okay. So, oh, where did I put Shelley's, Willie's, Willie. Fire steps. Okay. Now I can't make this any bigger, can I? No. All right. So basically, what she said to me is that we have the original in PDF format. It's a flyer, but it's a flyer that will only be sent over email. So really, when you call it a flyer, I tend to think it's for print, but it's really going to be something that'll be only emailed. So really, it's going to end up being something for screen, right? Screen resolution is what we need.
Yes.
The only caveat there is that some people might, what I wanted to ask you, and maybe you don't know, would people download it and print it? Like, is it going to groups who might want to print it on their bulletin board for other people to see, that kind of thing? You know what I mean? Because
do.
then if it's just for people to receive it and read it and come to the class, that's fine. But if it's going to be printed by someone, then you need to go back to having it be full res. I'm doing this with Shelly in part because she sent me everything last night when I was traveling, yesterday when I was traveling, but in part because this, what I'm doing right now, is the process of interviewing a client. Like when someone tells you you need to do something, you got to just like drill them down to everything you can think of and then more to make sure that what you're doing is actually appropriate for. So even if they say, oh, it's just going to be email, you got to think, well, and just ask everything so that later you haven't done every single thing for screen. And then they go, oh, it doesn't print well. And I'm like, well, you said it was going to be an email. You know what I'm trying to say? So
yeah, that's it. That's a great question. I would think that maybe a few people would print it out. It's going to be going to like veterinarian offices, so probably somebody will print it out. I can ask him though specifically if that's.
I mean, because if it's for the end user, they probably won't print it out, right? But if it's the kind of thing that'll end up in an office where you might want 5 or 6 of your people to attend, maybe there's a bulletin board. There's less of that now, right? But as you said, it's in the veterinarian's office. They might just put it there and hope that 3 of the people who work with them attend or something like that. So anyway, that would be just a secondary question. For now, we're going to go with the fact that it could be either or, and then we'll get your answer. Maybe you have a chance to shoot him some questions and get the answer, sometime this morning while we're working. And if not, we'll know by next week. Now, she said, I have to change pretty much everything on the left side with copies, location, and dates. And let me just show you. This is not the one you sent me, though. And this is what I want to ask you. What is this one?
It's
this
just
is the
all
individual pieces.
Yes. Yeah. It's just all the pieces of files.
Okay. And you just put them here and you just put them in the, okay. So, here, I'm going to turn this off. Let's go to Bridge. Let's first, before I continue asking the questions, let's go pick up all these images and put them in Bridge images, all these files, so that we can be ready to go. I'm having this one is needing to be a bit bigger. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to Bridge, and since I just downloaded this stuff, and remember to make sure that you have the folder of digital design techniques already here ready to come back, because now we're going to leave it and we want to in the future be able to come back here quickly, right? But we're going to head down to downloads. And if you don't have the word downloads here, which is possible, then you have to go back all the way to computer. If you're on a Mac, if you're on a PC, it would say PC, and then get into the Macintosh hard drive for Mac people. go into your users, and then into your name, then into the downloads, because sometimes the downloads needs extra permission. So at that point, if you're a Mac user and didn't have your downloads there, this is a good time to drag it out, which I already did and put it there. So now it's easy and quick to go to the downloads. Once you get to the downloads, you want to find the folder that was called Shelly's Husband's Flyer, and then drag it out here. And here we go. Make it a little bit bigger. So this is what she sent me. So I don't have any individual photos. What you did is you put them inside of a PDF, right? Is that what, PSD, that seems to be what you did?
Yes.
Which
the only thing,
ideally,
the only thing I have separate files for is that picture of the doctor and the picture of the dog. That everything else is just coming from that flyer.
okay, so let me know. I'm going to clean you guys' answers. Let me go when in Bridge you got to this place. So, and now I'm knowing that I'm just looking at Moni and Patricia. Okay,
I'm almost there. I'm just
All right.
finishing the.
Patricia, let me know if you need a hand. And in your case, but you don't need to download it then, Patricia, because you're on VDI, right?
Yeah.
So you just need to go through Google to the folder called Shelly's Flyer, whatever, and that's it. And just look from here through that, and then pull it out. So let me know what you're done, or if you need to share your screen to give a hand, happy to do that as well. So just let me know what you need. And then I'll put this up so we can read the notes. And I'm wondering, oh God, this desk is too much, really making me sick. Oh, it's not good. Someone's trying to come in from the bottom and I have no idea how to open that. Someone's ringing the bell.
Yeah, you're right. It seemed like such a straightforward, easy project. And then in the end, it was like I was like pulling teeth to get parts from him, and then he's changing his mind. And it's like, oh,
Oh, clients, okay? And he's your husband, but that's what clients do, right? It's a disaster.
Hello?
Santi, someone's ringing the doorbell.
Oh.
I heard
okay.
him. What? Should I ignore it? I don't even know how to.
It's probably Tobin.
And what
Wait,
do I do?
Wait.
I think it's this. Hold on. I think it's the street doorbell. I don't think anyone's here. Hello?
What do you
Oh,
mean?
hold on. No, you're right. It's not. With the doorknob. Yes, over there. Come in. Sorry.
Oh, is this the maintenance?
Yeah. Where's the
Oh,
doorknob itself? Here's the
yeah, I
knob.
guess I called it.
Here's the knob. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, sorry guys. Of course, when I arrived yesterday, the doorknob to their bathroom broke, and I guess they had called management and I wasn't expecting it. So anyway, I walked them in. Housing here. All right. I'm really love that I was like, should I do this or not? And then I went, you know, this is, if this works out like a typical client's job, this is a good idea. And I'm loving it because it's not Shelly wanting to do this, it's Shelly's husband. So basically she's acting as someone who needs to get stuff from the client. So I really want to keep hearing from you what you're saying, because that's how it is. That's the truth. We all think it's all like, you know, perfect and everybody comes to you with a bow tie, but no, people say, here, do this. And then they don't have the stuff to give you. They don't know what they want to write. They say, I'll get it to you later, and they're not getting it to you. So I remember when in InDesign, I said, there's this thing called lorem ipsum text. You do that, you put in this Latin text because usually you don't get the text until you need it, right? But then at least you need to have an idea of how long it'll be so you can kind of start designing until they finally give you the text and stuff like that. So anyway, tell me a little bit more what you were about to say, Shelly, that I interrupted because of the door. So,
well, what I was going to say is, and on top of that, he was like, I don't understand what's taking so long. Like, what, this should take 5 minutes. I'm sure you get that too, right?
yeah, they haven't given you half the stuff you need, but they're wondering how come it's not ready yet. Yes.
Yeah.
This
Uh,
is not, this is not because he's your husband. He's your client. This is why it's happening. And just be aware that this is how it works with clients. Okay. The thing is, the clearer you are from the outset, you get the job and you go, okay, I'm going to need, you look at it and you go, I'm going to need all of this. And until you give me all of this, we can't even count that the time is starting because I need all of this, whatever this might be, to be able to do it. Right. And so then you kind of put it on them a little bit. If this is a real client where you're signing a contract, you have to make sure that you only, one of the most important things that you don't learn until after you do this a few times and get burned is that you need to put a limit to how many revisions you allow. And at first, when you're learning, you might not do that. But once you know that you'll get it right, and that if the changes are there, it's because either they weren't clear or they're changing their minds, then hopefully you say 2 changes allowed after that, hourly rate and stuff like that. Because what happens is that they tell you what they want, you give them what they want, and then they want it different. And then they want it different. And if they have unlimited changes, you can be going for 2 months, right? Because they needed it yesterday, but when they start wanting changes, they can go on forever and ever. So you need to be clear and specific. You need to tell me everything from the beginning that you need. So let me go back to Bridge and then I'll read to you what she wrote to me, and I'm going to treat it as if that's the client, and then we'll find out how useful that was or how much more I need. So when Shelly sent it to me, did you get the files now, Patricia, too? I never got a yes, but did you find them? You're good? Okay. So this is what she emailed me, and it's a JPEG. And when I opened it up to see it, it's really tiny. Like I couldn't really tell. See, when you hit the space bar to see it, this is all I got. And you know, I kind of am forced spreading it open with the fact that the pad can do that. But other than that, I wasn't very clear. And so basically she said, I need to change 2 of these photos. I need to change the name of the doctors. Let me go back to what else it is that you said. You said, hold on. Here's my notes. You said, I didn't know at that point if all they had was that JPEG, but she answered, no, we have the original in PDF format. So that was good, because depending on how the PDF was made, you can, in the professional version of Acrobat, you can open it and take just the photo out, for example, if it's not been put in there as a JPEG. So we didn't know. We have to explore it. This is the client giving you stuff. They have a PDF, that's good, or at least it's better than if they don't. Now we're going to explore it. This will only be sent out via email. And now you said you're going to follow up on that. So then there's the maybe print question that I added.
He says
so I'm
just
just kind
email.
of taking just email. Okay. Good. So then no to that, right? But that's a question that you needed to confirm. I have to change pretty much everything on the left side with all new copy, dates, and location. Everything except the title at the very top. So now let's look at this again. And what this means is that the top hands-on lab is what going to stay supposedly the same, but you got to be careful because you just said the title, and maybe this is what your client considers the title: endo, ear, enhanced diagnosis. So I don't really know which is the title. So now I turn to my client and go, so which one is the title that stays, Shelly?
Yeah, so I guess we'll call the top the header, and then the title is the endo ear.
Okay, so that's the one that stays.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, good. See, because
No,
I would
the
have
one-
assumed
That's the one that stays at the very, very top.
at the very top. Okay. And the endo ear changes. It's a different
Yeah.
lecture. Okay. So then the next thing about the notes. So the title, and then you're going to write it down. So when it says everything, except for the title. And then over here, I'm going to write already. And right now I'm taking the notes here. Normally I would do it differently, but I'm going to write hands on laboratory, and I can seminar stays, right? So you want to take note, because later you won't remember exactly which was it this one, was it that one. I was talking, I had all these other things happening, so just take notes. Okay. Then on the left side, then on the right side, I have to take off 2 of the round photos and add 1 new photo to the other 2 larger photos. So I'm gonna just go ahead and so there's these 4 photos. Really, there's 6, but I'm assuming she's referring to these 4. We should never make an assumption. And of these 4, the 2 small ones are gonna go.
Yes.
The 2 big ones are gonna stay, and then you're gonna add 1 more big one
Mhm.
that needs to look like these in size.
Yes.
Okay. But these 2 stay. So I'm gonna go back to my notes. Oh, here comes Libby. Here you go. And we need to shift the balance around for 3 of them. The new photo will be about as large as the existing 2 and works best in landscape position. So thank you for giving that information, because that information might not have been coming automatically. So you might have had to ask, because next thing you know, they want something that fits in here. But then when you receive it, you discover it's a portrait position photo. And you're like, how in the world am I going to make this happen, right? But you already said that it's already in landscape position. So that's good. So it'll basically be, we need to take this off, and then these 2 stay. My first thought is that we'll probably do 1 more in this position and put it on top. It'll be like 1, 2, 3, or 1 more in this position, or 1, 2, 3. I don't know. We'll figure it out how it balances out, but we need to play around and see that. All right. Hi, Libby. How are you? Can you hear me? Libby, let me know if you're there and if you can hear me. And if you're going to be doing the work with us, I have to catch you up on what we're doing and what files to download. I don't know if you're hearing me. If you're talking, you're muted, so I can't hear you, just so you know.
Sorry,
Okay.
Deanna, I should have waited until
There you go.
everything lined up before I joined.
Oh, no, that's fine. What's that?
I'm all ready to go now.
Okay, don't worry, that's fine. I was just wanting to know if you could hear me. So are you gonna be doing the work following along with the class?
Yes.
Okay, good. So then go to the handouts. And in the handouts, I have a new folder that you need to download. So let me show you. This is, I'm on a laptop, so it's a little bit harder to move around right now, but in the handouts, am I sharing the handouts? Did that become one of the files, pages that I'm sharing? No. So I need to reshare the handouts. Here we go. When you go to our folder of digital design techniques, there's a folder called Shelley's husband's flyer.
Okay.
Shelley, your classmate's husband asked for a flyer. And so we're treating it as a client work and trying to parse out from the information that she has what we're supposed to do with it. So go ahead and do a right click and download it.
Okay.
You have your own, you're not on VDI, right? You have your own
No, I'll get
application?
I'll get it all dealt with and catch
Right.
up. No
So
problem.
just download it, and then when you head up back to Bridge, you need to go look for your downloads folder and find the files.
Perfect.
If you're stuck in find them under anything, interrupt me and let me know and I'll help you. Otherwise, let me know once you're here. Meanwhile, I'll keep talking. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. Thanks for joining us. All right. So so that's what we know. Take off the 2 round photos, add 1 new photo which is in landscape position. And then you have to switch out the top instructor, and you do have a JPEG photo of the new guy. So we need one of the 2 instructors' photos is going to change, and all the copy everywhere, except I would assume the top instructor's description, who is staying. Everything else should change. And then she had some questions from me. Normally, you might ask by email, you might ask in person, you might ask on a phone call. And this was specific to us doing it. Are we going to rebuild this from scratch? And in what program was the first one? I said that depending on the amount of changes, there are some changes you can do in Adobe Acrobat if you have the professional version, and depending on how the PDF was made, because the PDF can be saved in a way that you can open it kind of in layers in Acrobat. But it's very hard to do anything there. You can change text for text, like maybe photo for photo, but when you start moving around anything that has to do with or layout and stuff, Acrobat is not the place to do any design. So even if we had something, if all we had to do was open it up and just right in the same spot, type a different line. Maybe in the same spot, put in a new photo. I would say, sure, this could be done again in Adobe Acrobat Professional, which by the way, you guys don't have access to it because it's not part of the Adobe Creative Suite. So we wouldn't have done that anyway. But just so you know, it's only the professional Adobe, which is something separate that I have because a school, but it's not something that students would have. It's the Adobe Acrobat DC, the one that gives you a chance to edit PDFs. Other than that, 99% of the population cannot edit PDFs, okay? So we're gonna rebuild it. And I think the best way to rebuild this would be, since it's a one-page flyer, we could choose Illustrator or InDesign. Or worst case scenario, you could do it in Photoshop, which if because it's going to the web. Like if it weren't going to the web, I wouldn't say Photoshop, but since it's going to the web, it could also be in Photoshop. I think the best place for us to do it and for me to teach you more is in InDesign. That said, I'm aware that we haven't done much Illustrator work. And we don't have to recreate a logo or anything like that here, right? So if we do this, we won't be doing much more Illustrator work. So what I'm gonna do is by doing this in InDesign, I'm gonna reserve a lot of, when we're done with this, time to keep working in Illustrator. How does that sound? Because normally when we do this final project like this, one of the parts of that project is to do some work in Illustrator. So maybe even what we can do is maybe do that and maybe try to recreate the logo, for example, as if we had to do it. And even though it's fake because we won't recreate the logo, maybe that's the job, because this is something we can write and create in Illustrator and bring it in, right? So maybe that's the Illustrator portion of this that we'll do, because usually at this point we end up with this little capstone project where we create a thing from scratch, and there's a part that we create in Illustrator. So I'm going to have us recreate this logo in Illustrator for this to be complete. All right. Everything else does not need Illustrator. It will need some Photoshop for the photos, and then the rest can be done in InDesign. Okay. How does that sound? Now, the last thing I wanted to say that is in the note, let me go back to the notes. Well, the question that I had, so those were her questions actually, like client questions. And then my questions, designer questions. The first one was about email only or also print. I think so. The other question is size. Clearly, if it's only for email, there's no particular size that the client will know to ask, right? Because what's an email size? So you pretty much have to guess at that one. I would venture to say that there's a slight possibility somebody might want to print it. So maybe we should make it like a size that could be printable, which maybe would be kind of a portion of an 8.5 by 11 page. Does that make sense? But you basically have to guess, because really all they need to do is be able to open it up and see it in their computer. Now, there's one thing that we're not doing, which is important, is that you can also create emails per se in HTML encode that the email itself is a flyer. And that's an HTML code thing, which is not what we're doing and is not what this file was anyway. This is a PDF. But when you receive an email that's already all designed, there's nothing to download, but it already is like a newsletter or something like that, the email itself, you know what I'm talking about? That is not something that you would design here. That is something that you would design. Well, I guess you would design it also in InDesign, but you would create it as an HTML file, like a code thing. So it would have a different things to consider. But in this case, we're going to end up with a PDF. Now, should the new photos be JPEG? And the cutout photos also be JPEG? This is my question. Yes, they're gonna be, this is an example of, okay, maybe you guys tell me this. The final PDF, will these photos, based on what you know already, will these photos be embedded or linked into this document? What would be the best thing to do?
I would think
Well-
that the new ones would be linked and the ones we cut out would have to be embedded or no.
Try again. This is going to be sent by email to clients. In the document that we create, the final document that we create, the final document, when we're working with it, it doesn't matter, but the final for export document, will they be linked or will they be embedded?
Embedded.
Just, yeah, and why? I mean, yes, but why would you say that? Just want you guys to think it through.
Just because you're not going to need to change it, right? And there's only one page. Yes.
More importantly, because you want to send one file. And remember, when something's linked, you need to send the InDesign plus the photos, right? So that is only for working purposes. So while you're working with it, you're going to do that. You're going to link them or not. When it's something so small as this, you might even embed them and be done with it and just work with them inside. But in case you have to change something, you can create the document with them linked. But then when you finally do the final export, that export is going to be one file and everything's going to be in it flattened as if it's one piece. Does that make sense? You want to attach only one file. And the beauty of PDFs is that they are readable by anywhere and anything. Any document, any phone, any pad, any website can look at a PDF and it will look the way you designed it. If this were any other application, the fonts might change, the photos might shift position, things might shift around. But the beauty of a PDF, it's an equivalent of, yes, you go to a bulletin board and you post a flyer and people can write on top of it, you know, they can circle, but they can't move it. They can't on your paper flyer put the photo from here to there. It is stuck. It's like a picture that they get of what you want. And so it basically shows up in their computers, even if they have or don't have the fonts, whatever they do, if the final export is a PDF, the only people who can modify it or adapt it are people who own the professional version of Adobe Acrobat. Does that make sense? But it's not inviolable. Some people in the world can open it up and change it, but 99.9% of the world don't have that version of Adobe Acrobat and they cannot edit anything. And that's the beauty of it too, that you know that what's going out there is what people are going to see. Okay. Sorry, I'm going big and small because I have something in the way. All right. Now you did say, hold on, this is the question that I have that I didn't write it down, but that I had. Over here it says click here. And you said it's not going to have any links, but the original does say click here, and that is a link. So what's up with that?
The rain is really loud on my tin roof, so sorry, I keep trying to mute it.
Is it raining in Santa Barbara? Are you in Santa Barbara?
Raining, yeah, it's raining pretty hard right now.
Wow, nice.
And my
Okay.
shed is tin roof, so it's super loud. So yeah, no click here. It's gonna say something like to register, email, and then an email address.
Okay, so that's it. So people have to go to an email and send an email. You won't have like a QR code to send them to a site or, and
No.
so it's just they'll email in and people will take note by hand, the old fashioned way, and then email back. Someone
Well,
will be in charge of them.
I
They
think
don't
what-
like self-register somewhere.
No, they don't. But I think my husband wanted it to go to the doctor's email automatically when you clicked on it, but
Okay.
that's not necessary.
It's easy and doable, but
Right.
okay. Because here's the thing, and this is important. If people have to say email here and they see an email and they have to then go type it in, unless it's like a, CNN.com, BBC.com, if it's going to be at all complicated, or if the doctor is Dr. Buddha, and then some people forget the H, or some people put in one T, having people type in an email address is not very good idea. Just saying. So yes, you could have the email, but the email itself can be a link where then it just emails them, or you can have it click here and it sends it to an email. I'm going to let you think that one through. And if that's what you want, we can make it happen. Otherwise, we'll just put in the text, email this person. I'm just saying that it's not the best idea. And as a designer, that's what I would recommend my client, and have them think about it. And when they get back to me, that's an easy change. Does that make sense, you guys? Why I'm saying that and what you would do with a client? Because then you'll give them what they want, and then they'll go, oh, but this is hard to register this way. And I'm like, well, I advised you. Or if you didn't advise them, they go, you should have told me. And 99% of people now put a QR code on things if they send you to a website. But if you're going, and it could be a QR code, but if they're going to send you to an email, it's better just to have a click a link that just goes to an email. Anyway. So no links. Okay, so asked and answered, no links. Will follow through with that answer. But for now, we're going to say no links. For now, no links. Okay. Then, hi, Jack. Sorry, I'm teaching a class from your kitchen. My son's roommate just walked in. Should the new photos be cut? Should I figure out how to get the new instructor in a circle photo ahead of time? Or did you want to show how to do that with regular photo? We're going to do it all in class. Okay, so that's no problem. We're going to do it here. All right, so are we ready to head open into InDesign and begin to put this together? Now, how about the text? Oh, how about the type? Do you have the type available that we're going to be using? The text, is that what you put here in this file? Oh, Shelly's not. Is that what you put in here? So this is a PSD she made where she put in the little bits and pieces, right? Is that what you did with this PSD? Yes. Is this the correct text for the flyer?
For the main part, yeah.
Okay. Is this the new
That's
instructor?
Yep.
Okay. To me, this photo looks like it's been distorted. It doesn't look normal. It looks like it's been flattened. Yeah. Do you have the original photo that you can
that's
give us again?
rectangular
Is
one,
that
but
that's the original? Okay. So from here, we're going to create this again. I don't know, but it doesn't look flat to me. I'll see when I open it up in Photoshop if that looks like it has this, if it's circular or not, but we're going to do that. And then this down here, I just want to say is a very hard to understand photo. The rest of you guys, look at this photo. Is it very clear to you what that is? I know that this is going to vets, and vets might understand it better, but as an image, it's very busy. Can you guys see it? Moni, Amy, Libby, Patricia, what do you think of this photo?
It's hard to see the dog because of the black face.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
So that's because
to
the whole question is, do we go with this one? Do we ask for another one, or do we fix it in Photoshop, right? So I'm trying to have us analyze it and to see if this is something that we can rescue. To me, it's really busy, really hard to understand, and it's captive audience. This isn't going to the rest of the public. This is just going to vets, right? Is that so? I mean, that's something I should have asked from the beginning, by the way. She had already told me this, but in your questions to the client, you should find out who's your audience. Clearly is important because you need to know who needs to understand this material. And if it's vets and they look at this, what should they read from this? What does this mean? How is this dog being treated? I don't understand. What matters more is the fact that he's in a cart. Does it matter more that, there's tubes going in there? Is this the tool that's trying to be sold? This is enhanced endoscopic diagnosis, right? So is this tool the endoscopy part of it that matters? Because then can we just crop in? Tell me a little bit about it if you know, and if not, those are the questions that you ask your husband.
Yeah, no, I do know. The people that will be looking at the photo are very familiar with the equipment and have used it before. However, I do think it's really busy, and I think you don't need the whole left side or the right side. You can really crop it in and lighten the dog's face. I think it's really busy. So the equipment that he's selling is that piece in his hand. I think
Okay.
there in the background is a picture of the monitor maybe, or the tower that they use, but you can't really even tell enough to have to include it, I don't think.
That there.
Yeah.
Now, is this the only photo that you have of this?
It's the
Of
I'm
his
sure
hands?
I could
Because
get,
if what he's selling is this equipment, is there a better photo of the equipment? And we can do it with this, you guys, right? But as a designer, it's my job to try to give my client the best flyer possible. And I'm gonna ask, do you have other versions that I can choose another one? And if the answer is this is it, you live with what you've got. But if they can provide you 3 others and you find a better version, it's up to you to make sure that you can give them the best product, not just sit with what you get, but just ask a bit more because they might not know the difference. Clients don't always know the difference between a good photo or a bad photo. The client knows this and looks at this and goes, it's pretty clear. That's what it is. But everyone else sees the blank, big white spot, the dark splotch that doesn't maybe look like a dog. Of course, vets know it's a dog, but you know what I mean? A very distracting blanket, which is like colorful, so you're not focusing on this. My eyes go straight to that, right?
and
Is the
doctor
monitor
right in the way of what's happening.
of what's happening, right? Because if
Yeah.
this is what's happening, fine. But if this is where we should be looking at, we don't seeing it. We're not seeing it. You said the monitor might or not be important.
Well, it's they buy a tower with it, so but I can't even tell if that's what that is. Like it would be a monitor on top of a tower that has like computer parts.
Yeah. And remember, you're not trying to make the client feel bad because now at this point, maybe I'm almost making feel Shelly bad. So I got to be a bit more careful with how I say it. I'm being a little bit abrupt, but I'm like, you need to suggest, well, I'm seeing that this might not be the best, we have some issues with the lighting here and with distractions. Do you have another version? And if you don't, we'll make this one work, yada, yada. But this is the one that has to be put in this format, right? It's the image that's going to go here in that semi whatever in
Yeah,
this
it's the third
format.
photo. It's the third photo.
It's
Yes.
this one. So we need to look at this shape or that shape. It could be either side because we can choose which side we want. So that photo needs to fit into this. Okay. So back to this thing. We could consider that we're going to do something like that and cut it off like that. And then we cut a lot of that white stuff off. See what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Or we could do this and cut it off like that. So here we're taking the distraction out. Here we're taking the white out. Of the two, I would prefer to take the white out because it's very like your eyes just go straight to it. The second thing my eyes go to it is here. And if I really explore the photo, then my eyes land here, third or fourth. I want to hear from some of you guys about this. What do you think? Anything else about this photo that you guys could tell me that we can consider important or not for this discussion? And you won't hurt anyone's feelings. This is an exercise, okay? So it's all right.
Yeah, I would try and take the busyness of that blanket down a little bit if possible too. Biggest problem I see is that the black, you just can't see the dog at all. So whatever you can do to emphasize the dog and the instrument and not the background.
So what we're going to see is how big it is. If we can, maybe we can make a photo that goes like straight like that, and then circles over there. So then I get the hands and I get the dog and very little blanket and no white. As long as that monitor doesn't need to be in there. But when you said that, suddenly that threw me for a loop. Because if that needs to be in it, we might need to use the whole thing. We're going to operate right now on the fact that maybe that doesn't need to be in it. But can you maybe find out before we go too much further?
I sent him a text, so I should hear back in a minute.
And then when we cut this shape out of this, then we can enhance the dog so that hopefully the quality of the photo is good enough that we can get some Oh my God, how funny. Shelley, is this your dog? No, because look at the photo on Shelley's picture.
That's
looks
what I
like
was
it.
wondering. Yeah.
That's another black dog.
He does, my husband does this like a million times a month, so he's got so many
Yeah.
photos. It's just not a good
Okay.
one.
Yeah. All right. So there you
I-
go. That's
I
what
have
we're
a
gonna do. We're
question
gonna,
about
yes.
the other photos. Could I see the flyer? Are they colorized? Are they like, are they regular color, or is there some other kind of color filter put
Let's
over
do
them?
this. Instead of talking anymore about this one, she put all the stuff in a PDF.
Oh, okay,
Sorry, in a PSD right here. And
great.
I normally clients won't deliver stuff like this, and I don't know what size. It's like, see how tiny these are, which are supposed to be the final ones. I don't know what the resolution is in here. So I'm going to open this up and see. So let's just open the untitled PSD. Let's actually maybe change the name since we can here in Bridge. Let's right click and rename, or just click onto it. And let's call this one source files, or, so that we're clear that this isn't the design. Oh, but it's the material that we have to use in order to create our final project, right? And then you sent this JPEG, which is like kind of what the final was, like an image, a screenshot of the final. And then she sent this one, which is the actual final PDF. And we're gonna open this PDF in Photoshop and see if we can take parts and pieces out from Photoshop itself, because Photoshop can open PDFs, and depending on how it was created, we might be able to piecemeal things out from Photoshop. It might even have been saved as a layered PDF file. I highly doubt it, but there's a chance that it's been saved in a Photoshop PDF. If it's saved as a Photoshop PDF, we might discover that there's layers there. I don't know. We're gonna have to find out. And Shelley's like, nope. So you checked it out. But let's do this. Let's first open the source files, and that's as a PSD. So let's just double click, and it's straight going to open into Photoshop. Libby, I noticed that you said that you've got the files, so good. Now, when I first got this one, I did try to open it, and I discovered that it's missing. Okay, so over here, she sent us the PDF, but she had linked these. I didn't try to do this. I just tried to do this a few minutes ago before class started, right? Because she sent it to me yesterday when I was driving. So I didn't have time to ask her for the actual files, because in Photoshop, it looks like you linked these in. So when you sent us this, we don't have the files. So for better or for worse, that's the problem with linking. You didn't embed them, which is good, because embedded, you wouldn't have known what size to make them. But we don't have these. Matt's dog, Clayton Walking, Clayton Wagner, which I believe are these photos here, right? That we're gonna need.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, even if I were to open this right now, it's just gonna be a tiny little preview JPEG. So do you have these files that you can send me as they are, so I can put them up in the,
I
so we
do.
can download them again? All right, does that make sense to you guys, what's happening here? It's great, she linked them in, but this is the perfect example of what I meant. When files are linked, you need to send not just the document, but all the links, or I won't find them. So if I say, okay, right now, it's gonna open, and it did open in Photoshop, but what I have here, this photo that I have here, is missing. See, like, can you see over here that in the bottom of my thing, it has a little red question mark? And so this is just a tiny little preview, and it won't read well. Okay. But again, great. I am so happy that I'm working on this with you, because if you were my client and you had sent me this, you're off doing something else, and I received the files ready to work, and I'm like, oops, I didn't get the stuff. So as a designer now, when you receive the stuff, try to check it out and when you get it, so that if you're not going to work until, say, Thursday afternoon, by the time you open Thursday afternoon, you have all the stuff you have. Not at Thursday afternoon say, hey, I can't work on your stuff because I didn't get something, and the client's like, well, why didn't you ask me sooner? You know what I mean? Because they might not know how to send things, or what to send, or where to send. So anyway, I'm just kind of walking through the good and the bad of having of how it is. And there's nothing strange or special about what's happening. This is every single time I work with a client. this is exactly the kind of stuff that. So anyway, while she's sending me these things, what
I
we
sent
can
them
do is, okay, good. Let's go back to Bridge for a second and let's open the actual final PDF, the one that was created and used in the past, because I want to see what sizes this document was set up. Now, if I double click on this right now, in my computer, it's going to open in Acrobat, which didn't even share itself to you guys. So let me show you. And in fact, even for you guys, it might open up in Acrobat, but you might not have the professional Acrobat, right? So this is Acrobat, but this is the Acrobat version that I could edit things in. But let me show you how limited that is, because I would have to go to edit a PDF, which if you have the regular Acrobat Reader, you can't. And then in here, I could say change this text for something exactly the same. I could change that text for something exactly the same. See how it's available to me? But if you have a regular Acrobat Reader, you wouldn't be able to do that. And then even if you change it, if you were to try to begin to move things around, then forget it. Your whole thing would go haywire. Like things don't respect each other's spaces. It's, you know, it becomes very hard, but it is possible. It is actually a possibility to edit minor edits here to say, okay, I'm going to replace this text, and as long as it fits in the same space, and here, and as long as it fits in the same space, what would be, and you can just grab this one and delete this one and delete this one that we don't need, and then move this around and then create another one. So yes, we could technically create it all in here and recreate it here in Adobe PDF, but you guys don't have this program. So I'm going to just close this out and quit. And hi, Jinsu. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Nice to see you. And I'm going to click Acrobat again and close it. And instead, what we're going to do from Bridge is we're going to right click and have it open in Photoshop. So say open with Photoshop. So Jinsu, we have some files, some new files for today's class that we are using, and I'm about to download the new ones that Shelly just sent me, and I'm going to put some more in there. And Moni, I see you have a question, but let me go ahead and download the files that Shelly sent me first, and then I'll answer more questions. But here we go. So Shelly just sent me the photo of the dog. Download that one. She downloads. JPEG of doctor. Right click. Download. Is that it? Do you have the? Is that? Oh, those are the two that you have. Do you have?
That's it. That's all I have.
Do you have these two guys or the other photo of the guy? That we'll just use what we have already.
Nothing other than the PDF.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to upload into our class files. I'm going to, in the Shelly's husband's flyers. By the way, okay, so Jinsu, I'm going to help you catch up to what we're doing. You're on VDI, aren't you? Jinsu, I know sometimes you speak to me through the chat. I don't have the chat open. Let me see. So you said no, you don't have VDI, you have your own applications? Is that what you're saying? So you have to download the files onto your computer? Okay, good. So then can you go to the class files? Do you remember how to go to the class files, to the Digital Design Techniques handouts folder? And then I want you to right click and download this folder called Shelly's Husband's Flyers, where I am adding right now. Oh, one thing that you're not seeing is that all the files that I just got sent are typically, again, unnamed. So now I've added, you know, the files that she just sent me, and they were unnamed. So now I have 3 unnamed files. Again, typical of clients. we want to first name them to start with, because your source materials, you need to be able to distinguish what they are, right? So I happen to know that the first unnamed, this one was just kind of like a sample screenshot JPEG. So I'm going to go ahead and we can rename them now when we download them, or we can I can rename them now in here just to make it easier for you guys. If you haven't downloaded it yet, I'm just going to rename them. There's a flyer screenshot kind of for specs, just to see original flyer, the old, let's call it old flyer screenshot, just as a sample for how we're wanting it to look. The unnamed 3, the unnamed 2 is, the 3 is, what's the name of the doctor?
He is something
Dr. something.
Watkins.
Let's just call him Dr. Watkins, even if he's not. Whatever. It's the doc. It's the vet. Doctor. I'll call him the doctor. Dr. Portrait, I guess I could have said. Dr. Portrait. And then this one is the dog. But dog and the tool. What's the name of the tool that it is that's being sold here? The endoscopy something?
Endoscopy. I don't know. Tool.
I'll just say tool, whatever. Yeah, endoscopy tool. Okay, so now this makes more sense. Now, if you've already downloaded them, then that's fine. Then go ahead and change them yourselves in Bridge. But here I'm going to call this one source material. So now when you download the folder, you have these. That said, I'm going to go ahead and you can either re-download everything, or you can just download individually the 2 extra images, but then put them inside of the same folder that you downloaded later, so that when you go back to Bridge, if I go back to Bridge right now and I have to see all these here and the rest in my downloads, that's a mess. So I would, if I were you, go into your Finder or into your, let me share. I don't have my Finder shared with you guys. So this is the Finder or the Windows Explorer if you're on Windows. Go back into that one, and I would put these 2, which I named, and I can actually name here because I already downloaded them. So I'm going to call this one Dr. Portrait. It's hard to write with my hands on. And this one was the dog endoscopy tool. Having your files really correctly labeled is so important for any project. The more files you have, definitely the more you need to be very clear on what's what. Okay. So now I put them all in there. So when I go back to Shelley's, notice that I changed the folder's name. So I need to go back to that folder again. Always husband's flyer. All right, now I have everything in. All right, I want you guys to give me a good old yes. Let me clear your answers and give me a yes when everyone has all of these files in your Bridge folder and you're ready to get going. And if you've opened your source files in Photoshop. The film crew is assembling, and here I am teaching you guys. So, right, I'm waiting until you all say yes before we get going. We continue, okay? So, Shelley, you have files. Moni,
I'm still working on it.
Patricia, and Jinsu. Okay, so you guys, I don't see yes from everyone, so let me know. I'll give you guys a second. Meanwhile, I'm going to mute myself while I say hi to the kids that just came in. Right. Okay, guys, how's it going? I'm not seeing yeses, so are we having a hard time with that downloading the files or what's up?
Just
Can
finished.
I give you a, all right. Amy, Moni, let me see, how are you doing? Libby and Jinsu, how are you guys doing with the files? Are you ready? Patricia said yes. Libby and Jinsu. Amy said she's gonna be watching it today. Libby, you got it. Jinsu, I'll move forward. I think you were still trying to get the basic files. So good. All right. Cool. So now here's the good news. When we try to open that same file in Photoshop again, now this time we can link the missing files, but the names will be different, right? So let's go back, because we just renamed them. So let's go back into Bridge, open up the source files PSD, which by just double clicking are going to open in Photoshop. But when it says here that it needs to be relinked, see, the original name was ClaytonWatkins.jpg and Matt's.jpg. I have no idea why the files came through with a different name, but that's okay, because now we know what we called it, right? So I'm going to start with Matt's dog, and I'm going to say relink, and it's going to take me to my Finder window and go, where is it? So I'm going to head over to my downloads folder. And in my downloads folder, I'm going to go look for the Shelly's husband's flyer. Double click on that. And I called it Dog Endoscopy Tool. And then I'll save place. So now that's leading to my computer. See, before this path led to Shelly's computer because she had linked it. And that's the problem, that my computer couldn't find it in her computer because I don't have access to her computer. So now I relinked it to mine. Okay. Then I'm going to relink the, she has two here. She has the little one, and I believe this would be, it's like you have a PSD with a PSD. I'm not sure. I'm going to assume that, which one do you think is your PSD? The one that you made a circle around, or your JPEG?
The PSD is the little one.
The little one. We're gonna ignore that one. We're gonna throw it out, and we're gonna make a new one out of it anyway. So don't bother with the PSD. Let's just relink the JPEG to the doctor's portrait and save place. And we're just gonna forget that one. We're gonna leave it unlinked, and we're gonna remake that circle. I'm going to stay here until everyone has done this and you figured out how to do this, and then I'm going to say, okay. So I'm going to clean your answers again. Clean all your feedback. And now let me know when you got to this point. Because once I say okay to this, I can't pick this one up again.
Deanna, I'm just confused what you're doing completely. You're relinking.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Let me go back to what's happening. Shelly sent me this PSD where she put different materials, the source files that we're going to need to create this piece.
Right.
She put this photo in there, she put this photo in there, she put this text in there, and we're going to pick up from here and make our final piece. But when she made them in her computer, she didn't embed these images. She linked them, just like I taught you. It's good. She linked them. But then she sent us the PSD without the links. The photos themselves were missing. She didn't email them to me until today, until right now. So now when I open the Photoshop file, the computer is saying, oh, but this photo is in users Shelly downloads Peyton Wagoner. It's in Shelly's computer, wherever she lives and wherever she's sending it from. So my computer can't access them. So she had to email them to me, because when you send an file with linked images, you got to send the links as well. So she just emailed them to me. We downloaded them. And now we need to tell Photoshop, oh, to find this one, you need to go to my computer, SBCC teacher downloads folder, Shelly's husband's flyer. There it is. Like, I'm telling my Photoshop where to find it. Okay. So I'm like giving it a path to the actual file, so that once I say, okay, this folder will have the original file linked to it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm going.
Okay, great.
Just
So now I'm going to go ahead and say, okay. And I'm still not linking one of them, but for better or for worse, this is not the very best news that we would have wanted, because look at the actual size of that. Maybe it had been expanded, but it wasn't. Look at the size it comes in, the real photo. That's interesting. Anyway.
I got it off of his vet's website, like introducing the doctors, you know, that's
Yeah.
probably
Well,
why
that's
it's
the thing, is that files that are on the web are very small. And yes, this is fine if it's going to be again on the web, but imagine if you had wanted to print this, this would have been impossible, because at 100%, I'm at 100% right now. That's the size of that photo. So even when we do it, it's still going to be a bit of a mess. I have a bad feeling looking at this guy's face. I don't know him, but I still think it might have been a little bit flattened even here, not just there. But anyway, we might get away with it because it is just for an email and it's just going to be screen resolution, so it might still be fine. We'll see once we start working with it in the actual file size that we need. And then here's the logo. So we'll see. What file size did you make this? What did you create? Image size. You created a 7.5 by 300 ppi. So since this is 300 ppi, it's possible that for our final size that does not need to be 300 ppi, that these all might be big enough. Let's hope. Right now, what I'm going to do is go back to Bridge. And now we're going to open the actual, so that was our PSD. If you're all there, did you all like relink the photos? You're all good with that? If I continue? We're going to go back to Bridge and we're going to go to the actual final PDF that I opened for you guys in Acrobat to show you that it was technically possible to edit. We're going to right click and open with and choose our Photoshop. So this time we're opening a PDF in Photoshop. Say okay to that. And I'm going to stop here until everyone is in this page, because this is an important page. Okay, so you guys let me know when you're here. And if you don't know how to get here, let me know and I'll walk you through this one again. And just to be clear, what I did is I went to Bridge. I was able to open the PSD by double clicking, but if I double click on the PDF, it's just going to open in Acrobat and we don't want it there. So you need to right click and tell it to open in Photoshop. But when you do open it in Photoshop, it needs to do some work, right? It needs to go ahead and figure things out for you. So this is what we need to stop at. When you're here in this image import PDF, give me a yes. I'm going to wait for yeses from everyone before I continue. If I'm going too fast, please tell me and I'm more than happy to slow it down. We don't need to finish this today. We can continue definitely into next week for this, okay? Because I'd rather not just put it together quickly. I'd rather show you bit by bit, go into Illustrator, make our shapes, do everything we can. So it's fine to slow down.
You have to say that the dog picture, when it's so big on the screen, you can see it, you can understand. So it's kind of, I think a busy picture needs to be bigger.
Mhm.
But-
Well, it's going to be like this. It's going to end up
Oh,
in
yeah.
this format, but
Yeah.
don't think it won't be this small though, I hope. Because if this is all we have, we'll have to see. That's why I'm hoping that now when we open this guy in PDF, that we might have a higher resolution version of it. Sorry, guys, that I'm teaching in the middle of your studio, but it had to happen. This is a studio, and two people are in here with me, and I'm like blasting away. I have you guys on headsets, so they don't hear you, but there's no way I can hide them hearing you. So they, on the other hand, are all working on their headsets, so I guess it's okay.
Deanna, I'm sorry, I'm trying to
Yes.
find the PDF now that you're trying to import.
Mhm. You're trying to what with it?
I'm
Find
looking
it?
for the that PDF to import.
Okay. So in Bridge,
Uh-huh.
did you put all your files? Do you have five files in your Bridge?
Yes.
The original 3 and the 2? Okay. So there's a PDF, a PSD, and a JPEG of the flyer.
Okay. I'll
The
just go back. and-
PDF. Do you want, if you need to share your screen so I can help you find it, you can do that.
No, I'll find it. I'm gonna just do my best to follow along today and watch everything later.
I'm happy to slow down and help share your screen right now. I hope you find it and have you come along
Oh,
with
no,
me.
no,
I'd
that's all
rather.
right. I know where it is. I'm just gonna listen. I'm kind of having an ADHD day today, so I might. I
Don't worry.
know why.
Me too.
I'm sorry
Especially
about
with
that.
everything that's
Just-
going on around here. I am definitely, that's the day I'm having, but that's okay.
I might like click out and just come back to it later because my brain is just not working today.
Mhm. But you know what? And let me just say it one more time, and then yes, definitely do what you need to do to take care of yourself. But I'm happy to share your screen. I'll catch you up to where we are, and then I'll just go at your speed because I have been kind of talking a lot without like, waiting for you guys to catch up. So if you think we want to give it a try at doing this with us, I'm happy to catch you up to where we are right now, which is basically a few steps from where you are probably. And then you can try to keep up. You want to try that, or you just want to go back and say, no. Your
I think I'm
choice.
gonna do, I know myself well enough to know that I'm just hopelessly confused at this point, and I'm better to just go outside, come back later.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm
The
gonna
important-
continue to listen though.
Okay.
All
I
right, thank
did, by having to add new photos in and stuff like that, it did get a little bit confusing, but basically we're just opening a PDF in Photoshop right now. That's
think I'll
all
catch
that we are. Mhm. Okay, Patricia,
Yeah, can
How are
I
you?
share the screen with you? I'm a little unsure of,
let me stop my share. Why don't you share and I'll see where you're at.
thank you.
Okay. All right, I'm seeing your screen now.
Mhm.
And, okay, so you are, you have your bridge is looking quite different than mine, so it's a little bit
Yeah.
hard to see. So can you go up to, let me see, go to the place that says sort by file name, you see right above your preview? Yeah, and now go to the left and click on that little, not there, okay, keep going to the left. I'm looking for the place where you reset your, can you make it wider? Can you actually make it much wider so that we can see all the choices for your workspace? Yeah, go ahead and make it wider. And then go up to window at the very top, kind of up. Yeah, right there. And say workspace, right? The first workspace, and then go up and say essentials. Okay, phew, good. Now that's looking just like mine. Now you can go down and make it a little bit bigger with that plus sign on the slider. No, not like that, but actually the images that are so tiny, you can go right down and straight down from where you are, straight down to there, straight down there. That little plus sign, nope, that little plus sign, yeah. Go ahead and go bigger a few times. There you go. So now these are the files that we're working with, okay?
Mhm.
Now, have you already opened the PSD, the Photoshop?
Mm,
Like, have you opened that one?
No.
Go ahead and double click and we'll find out. Double click it.
Mm,
Okay. And when it opens, it's probably going to say, yeah, this. So see how it's stop. No, don't say okay. See how these files, and maybe this is something that might help again, repeating this, Libby, for you to pay attention. These files that I'm calling the client Shelly sent, are not in my computer yet, or were not in my computer yet, because when she made it, she just linked to files in her computer. See how it says users Shelly downloads? Shelly is Shelly's computer. Shelly is in the other part of the world. We don't know where she is. She could be a client from China.
Mhm.
We need to be able to link this to, we need to tell Photoshop where this file is. That's what relink means. It's Photoshop's like, I'm looking for this file and I don't see Shelly. Where else is it? So now click on the word relink next to the next two. We're going to ignore that one. We're going to relink the two bottom ones. So go to the middle one. That's the portrait, right? So click on relink. And now go to the folder that has your files. So it would be in Google Drive, shared drives. Double click. Yep. Digital sign techniques. Shelly's husband's flyer. Double click. And then that's the doctor's portrait. Click on the doctor's portrait. And see, now it found it. Oh, that's where it was. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing for the next one. Relink. And now that's the dog endoscopy tool. And now place. Right. Much better. See?
Okay.
Now you'll say, okay.
Thank you. Mm,
Cool. So that's the first step. Then go back to Bridge. Not there, but Bridge.
Wait.
Yeah, NVIDIA. There. Go down to your dot, down to where you see Photoshop and Bridge and InDesign. Go back to Bridge. There. Yep. Yep. We almost passed it. The BR next to
It's,
Photoshop. There's a BR.
Got the bars. There we are.
Yeah,
Okay.
there. And now we're going to go to the PDF version, which of those three identical ones, the first one is the PDF. See,
Mhm.
KSNA 2022 PDF.
Mhm.
It's the third one. Click, go and find it there. And now you're going to right click on that one. You're going to open it in Photoshop. So you need to go up to open with, and then go choose Photoshop, because otherwise it wouldn't automatically open in Photoshop. It would open in Acrobat. Cool. So now you have, this is the spot where I told you to stop. This is exactly where I'm at. And I said, wait until you're here. Okay. Now you're working on such tiny little windows. Can't you expand them to be as big as your VDI window? Not now, because you've got this window open, but like your VDI is have all this black space. I would
That's
make
fine.
your Photoshop and your Bridge as big as the black space, right? But not now, because you can't do it until this window is finished with. Okay. All right. So Moni, so that's Patricia, that's Moni. Libby, you said you're kind of waiting it out. And Jinsu, are you following through, or should I just move on? I'm waiting for something written on the chat. Busy. Okay. All right. So I'll continue. All right. Let me share my screen then. All right. So we don't need Illustrator for now. I'm going to quit Illustrator because it's one more thing that I have open that I don't need. All right, so Photoshop. Bridge. I said, right click and open with Photoshop. And I got here. Okay, so this is where I'm at. This is where I told everyone to wait. All right, so this is a PDF. It's not a native file to Photoshop, right? So when I open it in Photoshop, Photoshop's like, okay, well, I need to do some conversions here. Okay. So it's asking me, what should I convert this to? Should I convert the page? Should I convert the images? Should I give you a 3D, which we don't have? It's trying to extract something. And in this case, look at how when I went to images, how it's showing me that it could give me each one of these separately, which might be what we want. But then I won't really see the scope of the whole thing, nor I don't know what it'll do with the text. If I say pages, it'll make this whole page be a total of 8.5 or 9 by 6, right? That's kind of what it's going to give me, which means that in the width, it's going to be 9, and in the height, this whole thing is going to be 6. No, it should be the other way around. I'm going to go ahead and say pages first, and if we don't get what we want, I'll go ahead and switch to just give me the individual images.
Why didn't mine do that?
Why didn't yours do what?
It didn't ask me to switch stuff around. It just opened the file.
The PDF you open in Photoshop without having the import question?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
It should have given you the whole thing, so I really don't know.
Okay.
Let's see when I open it whether it's similar to mine. So right now I'm going to leave it on the default pages. Notice here that it's saying 300 PPI. Let's just see when we open it with the default settings what happens. I'm going to say okay. And here we go. This is, at this point, the flyer that we need to reproduce with new text. I'm going to go ahead and say Command R or Control R to get some rulers. And then we can see that this is designed as a 9-inch by 6-inch canvas. If you got to exactly a thing I got, let me know, give me a yes. Let me hear your answers. If you're nowhere near here, you have no idea how I got here, give me a call. Give me help. Amy, I think you said you were just following. Patricia, you're doing it. Jinsu, you're doing it. Who am I missing? Moni, you're doing it. Are those yeses? Those yeses are new? I didn't know if I cleaned it out. So Patricia, you're here. Shelly, you're here. Moni, you're here. Give me some kind of another yes or thumbs up or something to make sure that I got you. Okay, good. All right, so here we go. Now, this is going to be our sample. We're going to leave it as our template. So let's double click here on layer 1 and just call this one template. Let's keep that one intact. All right. We're going to duplicate this thing. And we're going to duplicate it the easiest way to duplicate something is to do Command J. Okay, so we're going to start working on that one. And then let's head back to the template. And just to make sure we don't mess up with it, let's lock it right there. That's it. That template now is kind of locked. Even if I turn it on or off, it's there, but we're going to have to turn it off at some point when we start doing stuff over it. But there we go. It's there for us to be able to refer to it. Okay. Now, let's look at the resolution. 66%, 300 PPI. Okay. I'm tempted, since it's a PDF, to have us do it in Photoshop. I'm good in InDesign.
How did you make a copy of the layer?
Command J,
Okay.
Control J.
You know what? I'm not able to lock mine. I don't have the little lock next to it.
It's not next to it, it's
Uh,
above it, right there. So you unlock it, but you lock it going right there. Right above.
oh, I see it. Okay, got it.
Deanna, it's Libby
Yeah.
again. I caught back
Yeah.
up to the
Mhm.
point where I figured out what was going on. I was opening, because it was a PDF, it was opening in another program and I was having a hard time
Yeah.
bringing it over. So now I've
Yeah.
got in Photoshop, I've got layer 1, and can you just walk me through what you're doing now?
Yeah, so basically, when you first come into Photoshop, you will have a file. Let me start from scratch. You have this, right? Layer 1.
Correct. Yeah.
So I went ahead and double clicked and called this one template because this is the one that we want to imitate.
Got it.
And then I just duplicated it. And to duplicate it, you can either right click duplicate or Command J.
Got it. Thank you.
And now I'm going to go to the original template, which I don't want to be messed up with, and I'm going to lock it right there, just so that stays untouched. Okay.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
there you go. All right, perfect. Now it would be so much easier to do it here. Let me stop you guys for a second. And since this is 9 by almost 6, let me test something. And then if this works, I'll have you guys do it. But I'm going to go into here being InDesign, because this is really where I was hoping to have us do it. But I also want us to just get it going. And if I do 9 by 6, say okay. It's asking to give you a break, but it's we started late, so I didn't change the margins or anything. Let me see if I place that PDF. Let me just test this, because we can use this as our yes. Shall we inspire? If I bring in the PDF and just click it, here we have this now as our template in InDesign, which is a officially much better place to bring it from. Honestly, I want to teach it to you guys in here, so I'm going to do it in here, but honestly, this is something you could just do in Photoshop because we have the template in Photoshop. But I want you guys to learn how to use InDesign. So I'm kind of torn. Because I have other Photoshop classes and yeah. Okay. So let's do this in InDesign. So let's go back and open InDesign. Let me start from there. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and use this to take some measurements, and over here I'm looking at the margin. I'm in Photoshop now. I haven't opened InDesign yet with you guys, but I'm going to be able to see the margins and see how I'm dragging a little. I'm going from the side ruler. I'm clicking on the side ruler and I'm dragging out a guide, and I'm going to stop right there where I see that that's the margin for this flyer. I'm going to look over there, and if this is an inch, I'm seeing that it's about a 1/4 inch. And I think this one's probably very similar. 1/4 inch on that side. On the other hand, this is not anywhere near as much. This is like what, 1/8 of an inch at the top, which if this were a printed piece, this is too close to the edge, because that's the margin of failure that a printer, a cutter might come in and cut off, and then you'll have your text starting there. But since this is going to be a flyer that's going to be just online, That's fine. Does that make sense? You have to consider your final output to wonder. And then over here, we're gonna just give it the same amount as the top, because as you can see over here, it's not there. And that's probably because when we opened it in PDF, it didn't see any text there, so it just didn't give it to us. We're gonna do that because we are gonna make it a 6 inch. So we're gonna give it 1/8 of an inch top and bottom margin and 1/4 of an inch left and right margin. Does that make sense? So let's head over to InDesign now, everyone. And let's say new file. We're going to go over here to the right and we're going to say inches. Is everyone with me?
Yes.
We're going to say 9 inches wide, 6 inches high. And then in the margins, we said that top and bottom was going to be 1/8 of an inch, which if you click in here and start going down, 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 that's 0.125 for top and bottom. But we wanted the inside and the outside, basically the right and left margin, to be different. So we need to unlock. See that? And in this one, we're going to go up, 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 up once to 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch and 1/4 inch. So we have different margins. Does that make sense, you guys? I'm
Yeah.
doing this. I'm giving it 1/4 inch left and right, which is what they call as inside and outside. And then I'm going to do top and bottom are only 1/8 of an inch. And I'm just picking this up from the original. I don't want facing pages. That's why it says outside and inside. If I don't want facing pages and I turn this off, then this becomes left and right. See, I just unclick from here the facing pages because I don't need facing pages. And immediately this that used to say outside and inside now says left and right. Okay? You're all still with me? Once your settings are just like this, we're going to continue. We don't need bleed because this is not going to be printed. We get to design to the exact size. Yes, Moni?
So something's wrong with my Adobe subscription. So I'm going into the
VDI?
yeah, so I'll be a little behind, but I took a screenshot of what you did, so just keep going.
Okay. Patricia, you're good? Shelly and Patricia, you guys are good? Or if you're not good, let me help you. Patricia, you're good, yeah. Shelly, I think you shook your head yes? Did you do yes? Okay, and Libby, I heard you say yes earlier. Okay, so then let's say create. So here we go. We have our smaller margins top and bottom, our bigger margins left and right. And if it looks like this, then you're good. Clear your answers for the next time that I need your answers. Right, we're going to keep using the one in Photoshop as a sample to measure out. And I want you guys not to just rely on my measurements. I want you to go to Photoshop and measure this out. Learn to use your guides. I'm going to grab another guide from the top and I'm going to put it here at the base of this blue band, this blue box, so that I can have an idea of how big it is. And it's telling me that it's basically half an inch would be right there. It's a little bit less than half an inch, but I don't know. I'll just make it half an inch in the one that we make because I would rather have it have a little bit more space on top anyway. So how about we go with for half an inch? Let's assume that that blue band is going to go for half an inch, okay? Design wise, I think it'll be fine. Do you guys understand what I did? Here's the ruler. Did you guys turn on the rulers in Photoshop? If you don't have the rulers on in Photoshop, you do Command R or you go to View, extras, not extras, view rulers.
How do you change it to inches from,
To inches, you go over here to the little corner where the two rulers connect, and you right click there. Oh, onto the ruler, you right click and you say inches.
Ah.
And then you put your mouse on the ruler and switch it to inches. Then you can use the rulers to kind of measure. We're using this kind of as the template. And so we're going to give this blue box in our design, we're going to make it 1/2 inch. Okay, so we're going to go to InDesign. And we're going to draw a line, a ruler right here too. We're going to go to this ruler, which in InDesign, the rulers are turned on automatically, but in case you don't have them, then same thing, Command R or View. And over here, it would say rulers. And once it's clicked on, like now, then it'll say hide rulers, but otherwise Command or Control R. And then we're going to grab and make ourselves a 1/2 inch guideline. Should be giving you guys a break, but since we started late, I'm gonna go in a little bit more. You're all with me?
Yep.
Instead of putting a template here in InDesign and having to follow it, basically I'm having us have this template open here to measure, and we're just gonna create it from scratch in InDesign from this template. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
All right, so we need to make a blue box here that goes from end to end. So over here on the bottom, on the right side on the tools, we're gonna go click on this rectangle tool. And there's this one and there's this one, and they're two different ones. So we're gonna click on this bottom one, rectangle tool. And we're gonna go ahead and put our mouse at the very end, like the center of this crosshairs goes at the very edge. And we're gonna drag open all the way to the other edge and let go. And we've made a box. It's a stroked box, and we don't want it to have a stroke, but it has no fill. So we're gonna have to give it a blue fill and no stroke, okay? So let's start by trying to give it a fill. When I go over here to fill it, these colors that come in InDesign might not be the blue that's there. Just for now, to have it have some color, let's go click on this dark blue. And it actually looks like maybe that is the blue they gave it, but we'll go measure it. This is pure blue. And then I'm going to go back here to the stroke and say, no, no stroke. So I'm going to go to the stroke, which is right underneath. I'm going to say, okay. So I just did 2 things. I'm going to do them again. 3 things. I first made a box by going to of the 2 rectangles, the one that's right above the scissors. And then I dragged a box from edge to edge using the guide as my bottom portion. And you might need to go Command minus or something if you want to see the edge to edge a little bit better. I'm fine with having it be filling my screen, but Command 0 would fill your screen. And then on fill, I chose the bottom color, which is pure blue. And on stroke, I chose none. Once you got here, give me a yes. Okay, Patricia, Moni, can I give you a hand?
Almost there.
Okay, I'm gonna show you how to, I keep being tempted, but then you wouldn't learn much to do it here because a lot of it is already written. We would have to just write it over, but it's just not gonna teach you much to do it this way. So that's why I'm doing it in InDesign, but we're gonna copy the colors from here, okay? So we're gonna pick up this blue because it might or not be the same blue, we don't know. So how do we find out what this blue is? I'm in Photoshop again. We're gonna find our eyedropper right there, the eyedropper or the shortcut letter I. And we're gonna go and click on this blue somewhere. And our blue that we clicked on is now transferred to our little box down here. You see that? So you can just click on this box and open it up, and here you go. This is the blue. So let me show you again what I did. I grabbed the eyedropper and I clicked on the blue somewhere. And there it is. It went in and became my foreground color. Now I want to go see the numbers so that I can go transfer them to the other document. So I click on that box and that opens up, and here it's telling me that CMYK, RGB, HSB, it's giving me the information. And it's a good point. I didn't check and see in design if it gave me a print. Huh. If I look at the colors here, I have a feeling that this is coming out in CMYK. Yeah. I'm wondering if since it's going to be for color settings. Layout.
My rulers are kind of messed up in InDesign. It starts with a 1 and then goes to a 0 and then a 1 on the left side.
Give me 1 second. I'm looking at where I can change to have this be in RGB mode. Otherwise, we'll just change it at the end. But set up. I think we didn't set it up as RGB as web at the beginning. It's not going to be terrible, but I should have, when we were doing this, had started with this as an RGB file. So right now it's a CMYK. It's not a big deal. We'll switch that. But see, when I go to the colors, they're described in CMYK instead of an RGB. Anyway, I need to hear, someone talked about the rulers. I was just looking at this, so I didn't pay attention to what your real question was. So can you explain that question again?
Yeah, in InDesign on the left side, my rulers are wacky. They start with a 1 and then go to 0 and then 1.
Okay, so if you have this a bit lower and you see 1, then 0, then 1, it's because the corner of the document, if you follow through, will be at 0, 0. And then that would be like -1. See what I mean? So when you have a lot of gray space, that would be -1, -1. But 0 and 0 should coincide with the top edge of your document. Is that
Okay, yeah.
working?
Yeah.
Okay. So, so yeah, that way, then the other end says 9. So that the initial corner is where you want the 0 and 0 to be. Okay. So Photoshop, did everyone get here? We're going to pick up these numbers. And what we're going to do is remember 96, 76, 00. So CMYK are 96, 76, 00. But one thing that I haven't yet taught you is how to use your libraries. And I'm looking at the time. I'm concerned, the only concern I have, Shelly, is that you need this for real, and we're not going to finish this until next week. Is that going to be too late for your husband, or?
Well, he said he needs
Because
it.
otherwise, he needs it when? Sorry.
He says he said he needed it like yesterday, but I don't really
Yeah,
get that.
yeah. Yeah,
This
because,
is August, so I don't really know.
well, yeah, so otherwise I can probably, when I get home on Monday after all this, I can probably put it together really quickly to send it to you if he says, no, I need it now. But we'll keep working on it slowly and between today and next week. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you tell me if you can wait until next week. Otherwise, I can't this weekend. I'm here shooting a film, but when I get home, I can just put it together in a couple of seconds.
I'll ask
All
him.
right. Okay. So I want to take this color because I want to teach you guys the right way to do this. We're working with 3 programs. We're going to be working in Illustrator and to create this logo. We're going to be working in Photoshop. Here we're opening up the templates. We're going to be working with the photos to make them better in Photoshop, and we're going to be working in InDesign. So there's 3 places we're going to need this color. Yeah. So the best thing we can do right now, instead of carrying this color around and creating it individually in each app, is to actually put it, and now I'm going to talk to you about the libraries. So I'm going to say, go ahead and say okay to this for a second. So I'm going to show you the libraries. Now, if you don't see a tab here that says libraries, then go up to Window and open up your libraries. I'm in Photoshop now. And then over here, the libraries will appear. If you've never used your libraries, it'll have like a little drawing saying create new library or something like that. I don't know what it will say. But if you have or haven't, then if you already have libraries, some of you might have done this already for another class, go to the folder that you created. Otherwise, click on create new library and call this one Digital Design Techniques, or in this particular case, the way you would do it is you would call it the name of this client, right? Or the name of this project. I'm going to go ahead and just put it in my class libraries because otherwise I have so many. But create a folder. And so I'm going to go to my Digital Design Techniques class folder and I'm going to put it in there because I have too many. But you guys start from scratch and call it a name and you'll be inside of an empty space. I have already a bunch of stuff in my Digital Design Techniques. Okay. And what we're going to do now is we're going to create this color. There's so many different ways, but we're going to create this color. We're going to say add to swatches. So now I went back in here. I went to add to swatches. I'm going to call this one Vet Flyer Blue or something like that. Vet Flyer Blue. And notice that it says add to my current library. I'm going to repeat what I've just done in case I've lost you. I first opened my libraries and created a new library called, if you want to call it Digital Design Techniques, if you want to call it, flyer for project or for whatever, but that's the flyer, that's the folder that I want us to be in. Then we're going to go sample that color if you haven't yet, and then go find that color and we're going to add it to swatches. We could have just copied these numbers into InDesign is what I'm saying. But the right way to do this when you're going to work amongst a bunch of programs is to just have it in your library. So not color libraries, we're going to say add to swatches. Color swatches, these are all color swatches. And I'm going to call this one Vet Flyer Blue to distinguish it from other blues. And this should be on add to my current library. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to say okay. And then over here, it added to my general flyer. It didn't go into just my design. So we can't do that general. Now, what is this library? Just so you guys know what this is. When you own a subscription to the cloud, one of the things it gives you is, I think, 20 gigabytes in the cloud to put stuff in there. And one of the best ways to use those 20 gigabytes is to put things in your library. A library is a place in the cloud where you put things like swatches, colors, panels. You can see here examples in my library, graphics, font choices, text, stuff like that, that you can then access from any other Adobe program. The libraries open up in every single Adobe program. So you can have this blue here, and then when you're making a little TV ad for this program, you have the same blue. You're using Adobe Premiere. Whatever Adobe program will have connection to this library, and you can have all the styles of, choice of fonts, choice of palettes, choice of everything prepped in here. I'm going to say okay to this now. This is in Photoshop. Now watch. I'm going to go to InDesign, and I want to make sure that I bring the right blue in here. And in InDesign, there's my CC libraries. And I have it under all class libraries, I believe. And here we go. Down here, there's my vet flyer blue. You see that? And now I'm in InDesign. And this is good because maybe a designer started this project and sent it over to me, and we're sharing the library, and I can just have the exact same colors. So that's the color I'm going to be using. So if I double click on it, this thing opens up, and see how it says CMYK 9676. I'm going to go ahead and say add swatch. Now, tell me if you're okay, if I've lost you, if you're good.
Where did you find the blue in the CC libraries?
Okay, I went to the CC libraries, and wherever you saved it, I had saved it under my all class libraries. Do you have other libraries? Or is
No.
this your first library? Then if you have saved it, you just scroll up and down, and you should see the Vetfire blue in there. Are you working, hold on. Are you doing everything in VDI now, or are you doing one program in VDI, one program in your computer?
Me?
No, Moni, who said she couldn't find.
Oh,
That
Moni,
wasn't me. I
you're-
think that was somebody else.
that was
Oh,
me.
it was Shelly.
Like-
Oh, Shelly. Sorry, I was looking at Moni's mouth moving, and I wasn't looking at you. Shelly. So,
Yeah.
do you want? Explain to me what you did do or didn't do, and then I will tell
Well, I
you
thought
where
I
you went.
thought I saved the blue in the library, but
Mhm.
maybe I didn't save it because I'm going into InDesign into the CC libraries, and there's
And
nothing
it's
in.
not there. Okay, so let's try again. Go back into Photoshop and click on this little box. And once again, when you say add to swatches, make sure that this says add to my current library. But look over here to see what library you're in, see what it says. I'm in my all class libraries, for example. But I don't know what you called yours. And if you want to, you can just share your screen and I'll help you with this. And then after we get our colors over, we're going to take our break. So do you want to just share your screen?
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
Once you have found the color successfully, give me a yes, everyone else, so I'll know whether to support and help you or to just not. So
How do I
Mm.
share? I clicked share screen, then do I just click desktop?
then on the bottom right, there's another little share button with white
Oh.
letters. Okay, good. So now, you're in, okay, so you're in Photoshop. Okay, so click on add to swatches.
Okay.
Yeah, add to my current library.
So that-
And the question is, say cancel for a second, because you didn't create a new library here. Say cancel.
Okay.
Because first you need to create a library. Say okay.
Oh. We're doing that. Okay.
Go down to where it says create new library. You haven't created your new library yet in Photoshop.
Oh.
Go back to
photo-
Photoshop.
Okay.
You see how you have, go down with your mouse and see in libraries, it says create new library and it hasn't been done yet. It's in the process of being created. So
Okay.
you have to type a library name right there. Like there's a
Okay.
cursor that says library name. Go ahead and type flyer, vet, whatever you want to type.
Okay.
Oh, where
Whoa.
did you go?
I don't know.
I don't know. Just type something. Type the name of the library. Oh, I don't know what you're doing, but you're moving off. Go ahead and hit, you're changing your whole, some shortcut that you're doing is changing your whole thing. Try escape, and if not, tap the letter F.
I didn't touch anything. Oh, there, I'm
Tap
back.
letter F. Okay. So where's your mouse? Put
Wow,
your
that's-
mouse, click it under where it says click create new library, click in there. Cursor, click.
It won't let me. That's the problem.
Okay, so what's happening? Say cancel. There's something else that's open that's not letting you. Oh, because you're in the InDesign library. I'm
Okay,
just
there we
waiting
go.
for you to work. Yeah,
Okay.
create new library, and there call it vet or whatever.
Okay.
Say create. Okay. Now, in this vet flyer, now go to the color. Go ahead and move Photoshop over again. I hate when things moved over because now you have two libraries and it's hard to tell. Move Photoshop over so it's on top of
I know, I
InDesign
don't-
and we can, yeah, there we go. And
Do
now
that.
go to the color, click on the color swatch.
This.
Yeah, you're in a tool, the tool you're using to rotate your screen, so be careful. Leave that tool, go to
Oops.
the like move tool or eyeball
Right.
tool, yeah, and click on
Okay.
that, and then go click on the swatch so that you get on the, yeah, double click on. Okay, now say add to swatches,
Okay.
and now call that one vet blue or something. And say okay. All right, and then say okay again, because you've added it to the swatches. Okay, so there it is in your library. You see it?
Yes.
Now, switch to InDesign.
Okay. Mm. Whoops. I don't usually have such a mess here, but my
Yeah,
computer.
that's okay, but you can go to your dock and find
Okay.
InDesign through your dock instead of,
Yeah. Okay.
okay, and then do you see on the right side how the top thing says vet flyer? On the create new library, the first library says vet flyer.
Oh, yeah.
Double click on that and there's your blue,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Great.
So now you can double click on that color and say add RGB swatch. And then say okay. All right. Is everyone here with me if I continue with her?
I got a
Okay.
quick one for you,
Okay.
Deanna. I'm sorry, I've gotten, I did everything that she just did and I have my swatch, but in InDesign, I lost like being able to see my tools for some reason.
Okay, so hang a second with me. Let me finish this here and I'll help you. Now select that box, the one that we want the vet blue in. Select it.
Okay.
I'm talking to Shelley and everyone else who's at this point. And go back to your properties panel at the top. We're done with the libraries. And go to fill. And then if you scroll down under the blue that's there, you'll see that you have your vet blue. Keep going down, you're scrolling the other direction. Keep going down, down, down. Oh,
Where is it?
did you keep going down? Not there. Let's go back to the libraries then. Go back to your libraries panel. 'Cause mine it came in. Can you just drag that swatch onto this box? That could work too. Just drag it over and say fill. Let go. Nope. Try
No.
again. So double click to see if it fills with that color. You said RGB, add RGB swatch, didn't you?
Did. Oh, there it
There,
goes.
there it is. It changed. There it is. That's the right blue. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to stop your share and let me help Libby. So
Okay.
Libby, what's up? What did you say?
I just lost
You lost your
um,
tools?
my toolbox in InDesign. I've selected my blue, I've got all that, but I'm not seeing anything except for my layers window.
Can you, the easiest thing would be for you to share your screen so I can see the layout of what's happening. Otherwise I can begin to guess, but if you can share
Yeah.
your screen, that's easier. Now, okay, so go up to the very top where it says window. Blah, 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 yeah. Wait, keep going, yeah. And then go say workspace. Go to the right and say essentials, go all the way down to reset essentials. Down,
Oh.
down, down. Uh-oh, reset
Yeah.
essentials didn't work. Try that again. Otherwise, choose essentials classic, choose a different one.
Okay.
Like choose a different one and let's see if then you come back, choose essentials classic or something else. Yeah, window. Go to workspace. And choose essentials classic, get underneath. Oh.
Oh, you know what? Let me try, see if it's just gotten trapped below here.
Yeah, what you did is you had separated it from its base, which is different, like it's disconnected, it's not. I can
Right.
tell you physically how to do it, which is right, grab it from the white bar that says Untitled 1. Go put your mouse on the white bar that says Untitled 1. Put your mouse right there.
Uh-huh.
Click, and now drag it up a tiny bit, right there. There you go.
There it is. Okay.
Put it in there again. Okay,
Thank
cool.
you. All right, so
You're
now I'm at the
welcome. And
point where
now
I've
your
got
blue
the-
box,
Yeah.
your blue box is
Yeah.
not in the right spot. Can you
Okay.
tell? Maybe
Yeah.
it got dragged over, but yeah, you got a clue. You already made your box, so go use your move tool. You're making more boxes otherwise. Good. So you made another box. You got to undo, undo, undo. You have like 4 boxes there. I can see them all. Undo, undo, undo. Good. Now in your move tool, go to your arrow move tool. Go ahead and make this box the right size, which means pull it all the way to the right, on the right side. Yep. Undo that. It's easier to undo than to bring it back because now you've moved it from the other way. So undo twice. Okay, and now go grab again and just move it a tad to the right from the middle white box. Oh, undo that. Command Z. Command Z again because yeah, go ahead and grab any of those boxes and you're going to have to move it right and there. And now you're going to have to move it down. You're moving it now instead of dragging it because
right.
it's so small that it's hard. There we go. And that one has to go down. Now your zeros are not in the right place. I'm kind of confused. Can you go ahead and say Command 0 so that Command or Control 0 so that it all centers so I can see both sides of your image? Okay. So notice that your 0 is not at the, see on the left side your ruler.
Mhm.
It's not at the beginning of the document. It's 0 and 3. It says on top. So wait. No, because that is not a true 0. You're at a different measurement.
Oh,
I
okay.
know that's my break sign. So you need to go to the rulers, put your hands on one of the rulers, put your mouse on the ruler. Yeah. Where the two rulers coincide, give it a double click right there. There you go. So now you've got your 0 perfectly on the 2 corners. And so now when you make that 1/2 inch, which you did, that's good now. That's a 1/2 inch box. Does that make sense, you guys, what I did?
Yes.
Her zeros were all over the place. Her numbers are all over the place. And so I had to have her double click and center. Got it, Amy. Thank you. See you next Friday. By the way, guys, one thing. Well, she left now, but next Friday is our last digital design techniques class. And what starts the following Friday would be the making a digital newsletter. There's not enough students in that class. And if you're not signed in, please sign in. Even if you can't make it, I need to have that class not cancel. Hopefully you can make it, but I need more students. So if you guys could sign in there and then we're going to see who can or not make it and whether you can just catch up with recordings or something. But Yeah, I don't remember right now how many students I have, but I think I need like 5 students. So
I
if you're
think I
not in it,
registered in that.
okay, that's really helpful. Thank you. I'm gonna see if I can give you the CRN. So if everyone's given their box the right color, then we're gonna take a break. Oh, here comes, no, you don't, yours is not the right color yet, Libby. So let me
Okay.
help you get it the right color. So we'll just join us. So in a second, I'll tell them where we are. Go ahead and select your box, select that box first, and now go in and see if you can just double click on that and see if it just turns, there it is. It turned that color, say okay. And there you go.
Thank
All
you.
right, so we went to the library to bring in the color. Hi, Saul, nice to see you. Can't hear you, but I saw that you unmuted yourself, so I think you might have said something, but I didn't hear you. Can you try again?
I'm saying, good morning, all
There
of
you
you.
are. Yeah, I can hear you. There you are. So we're about to start our break, which we started late because we started the class late. I'm going to drop you now, Libby, that you're set. And basically what we're doing is we're creating a flyer that is a real flyer that Shelly's husband needs. So maybe during break you can catch up a little bit. And I put some new files in our let me share the screen and catch you up a bit. And what I did is that in our handouts, this is our digital hunting, these handouts, you see there's a new folder called Shelly's Husband's Flyers. You can download that guy.
Okay.
Because there's 5 files in there. And then when you open Bridge and you find them, and we're just going short because we've done a lot of other stuff. What we're doing right now is we've created an InDesign file that's 9.
You got it. It's done. It's done. I got it. I know how to do those.
Okay,
But,
we're 9 by
yeah, I'll do it.
6. And then we opened the PDF in Photoshop as a sample, and we're taking from here the measurements, but we're going to have new text, new photos, and stuff like that. So the PDF
Okay.
from Bridge, we did a right click open in Photoshop, and that's what we're using to measure. And we've gotten as far as just making the new box in InDesign, but we brought the color from Photoshop. We put it in our color libraries, the vet flyer
Okay.
blue, so that then in InDesign, we picked up that blue from the color libraries to put into that box. And that's going to be the blue that we're going to use everywhere. Okay. And I know that you know
Okay.
how to do all that. So by saying that, let's take our break. And when we come back, we'll all be in the same spot. All right. So what time is it? It's 12:14. How much time do we need here? 15 minutes would be what I normally give. Is that good? Or do you, because we're kind of late, you want a bit less, or 15 is good? Let's do 15. 12:15? Okay, we'll see you at 12:30.
I emailed
Back.
you, my husband sent more photos for the dog, so I emailed those to you. If you
Oh, cool. So then I'll go ahead and put them in there, and then maybe when we come back, everyone can just download them. Okay, be back by 12:30 p.m.
Okay.
Cool. And let me go get those photos. All right, I'm back, you guys. Let me know when you're back. Give me signs of life. Signs of life. Moni's there. Patricia, Shelley, so Libby, if you're there, give me a yes. Jinsu, give me a face. Give me something to know you're in the world. And if you're just hearing me, head down to the handouts because I added and download. I added the photos that Shelley's husband just sent. More photos of the dogs. Now I have to say that this is unrealistically cool because client is in class. Otherwise, when you request client to send you new stuff, it takes forever. But anyway, here we go. I added image 1, 2, 3, and 4, which are different dog pictures. Let's go ahead and make sure to download them all so that we have them available and we'll decide if we want to use them or not, or what we want to use. Okay. Shelley, you here? I don't see Shelley. There it is, Shelley. You're here. You're just little dog face. Patricia's here. Okay. Libby's here. You're all here. Jinsu, let me know if you're here, but I know that I won't hear much from you. Okay. Don't worry, Libby, all is good. I'm happy to support. But yeah, I remember the Star King. The Star King days. All right, and Amy had to go to work, so she's not with us. But okay, is everyone? I'm going to clear out, since you're all here, I'm going to clear your answers. And now I'm going to wait until you give me a yes that you have all the files. Okay, so clear your feedback. And if you guys have downloaded images 1, 2, 3, and 4, then let me know. And when you're done, then here's how it should look. In your bridge, you should be seeing new photos, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ah, my hand is just tingling so much. Okay, I'm seeing 2 yeses. Shelley and Saul have the photos. Moni and Patricia and Libby, let me know when you have the photos. Okay. I'm so accustomed to teaching you guys with 3 monitors, and now I've got 1 laptop and everything is tiny, but it's working. All right, I'm waiting for some yeses from Libby, Patricia, and Saul already said yes, didn't she? So Libby and Patricia. Are you needing some help from me? Are you there? Actually, I believe you're there. Yeah.
I have a
Okay,
hand?
yeah. Say that again, Patricia. I stopped. I didn't hear
And
you.
I have a hand, I lost my concentration.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Do you want to
Um,
share your screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, share your screen and I'll help you catch up.
Okay.
Okay, so head back to your bridge. So yeah, there we go. And actually for you, it's the easiest because guess what? Since you're down, you're already connected to the shared drive. There you go. You have your 4 images there. You're the only one who doesn't need to download anything. So there you go. See how there's 4 new images of dogs? So you're fine. You don't need to do anything. Just make bridge be your main thing and sit there and you're good. Stop your share. And Libby, you got it. So okay, everyone has the new files. Awesome. Let's go ahead and thank you for the flexibility of everyone going and getting new files all the time. But as we said, we're kind of recreating the reality of the situation, right? Now notice that the one important thing is to always keep all files in the same folder, okay? We're making a point of beginning to keep our source files and our files and everything the same folder. And since we haven't yet saved this file, Now we're gonna save this file and put it in that same folder, okay? So we're gonna go say file. Now I'm in InDesign, okay? The one that we just made a blue box. That's all we've done. So we're gonna say file, save. And we're gonna find that folder, which since I've already been bringing stuff in, it's right there, but if not, you need to go find it, you know, to wherever it is that you have it, you're probably in your downloads. And let's call it this one, new vet flyer. And since it's already an InDesign document, it'll save that way and we'll say save. Cool. All right, so just in case you remember or not, what we did is we right clicked and we opened this folder, this PDF. We right clicked and opened it in Photoshop, and then it converts into a page, and then we have this, which is like the old flyer. And this is the old flyer, and now we're going to keep some of the elements of the old flyer and we're going to recreate new ones. All the text is going to be new. We're going to get rid of these 2 round photos, and we're going to bring in 1 new photo with this format, like this like half circle and have whatever format. And then we're going to change one of the doctors. So basically all the text, one of the doctors, and some photos. So we're making it look exactly the same. I think that was a request, but with new data. And I think I had one more question that I didn't put here, which I had thought of, but I think, oh, did you ask your husband about links? Doesn't matter because we don't need to do that until next week, but remember to ask if he wants the email link. But anyway, fine with the links. All right. So now that we have the photos, we need to remember that we need to match the new photo to these 2. But we don't have these photos anywhere else. Are you guys aware that we don't have these photos anywhere else? When we went to Bridge, she put these photos in this document that we called source files, that is already a PSD file, and I think we already had it open, but if you don't, this is what we have. This tiny little guy right there is one of them. This tiny little other guy right there is another of them. And it's going to be very hard to do much with that. So I want to try something and see how it works. We're going to go back to Bridge, no, to Photoshop. Let's go back to this file in Photoshop, the one that's our sample. Oh, I guess this is the same thing opened twice. Yeah, I had just opened it twice. Was it? Yeah. So we're going to go back to this one where it opened kind of big. And we're going to try to cut it out from here and create each one of these 2 into their own files, because this one already was at 300 PPI. So we're in Photoshop. You guys with me? We're in our Photoshop template. Remember that we had made a copy? Oh, so in case you didn't know, when we opened it up, we left one version as a template and then we made a copy, because we're going to use that copy to create the files that we need. And then we're going to do the same thing one more time. We're going to get to that template copy and we're going to copy again. We're going to make it 2 times. We want 1 for this photo, 1 for this photo. Which one of these 2 doctors stays, Shelly? The bottom one or the top one?
The top one goes.
So we want this photo. We want the bottom photo.
Yes.
So we're going to do this 3 times. Command J, Command J, Command J. We're basically getting, this is the template that we're not going to touch, but we're going to have 4 different layers. Each one of these we're going to turn into one of these guys. Okay. So let me know once you have this, Command J, or right click duplicate file, duplicate layer, whichever way. I want basically the template is 1 and then 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Now I'm gonna turn off all the eyeballs except for one. And I'm gonna go ahead and it would have been easier to copy paste than to do what I just did, duh. Because now I'm gonna delete everything from it except for what I want. And it would have been much easier to just select what I wanted. Okay, that's a bad one on me. Just because I want to make it easier for everyone, let's go ahead and let's just get rid of these 3 that I just said to make. I'm just thinking of an easier way. So you can select all 3 by clicking on one, holding the shift key and clicking the other, and then right click and deleting all 3 of those layers. Say okay, and they're gone. I'm going to do that again. I told you guys to make 3 layers, and it just occurred to me that there's an easier way to do this. So select the top one or the bottom one, hold the shift key and select the bottom one, or toss all 3 out individually. But if you do that, then with one right click to the layers, you're done with all of them. And now we're back to just our template. And what we're going to do next is we're going to surround that which we do want, which in this case, so we're going to go to our selection right under the move sign. We have our first selection tool, which is our rectangle selection tool. And we're going to go ahead and click and drag and make a selection around, not exactly, okay, so don't try to go right there, just go big. It's all empty. Go all the way around this guy. And when you're done, we're going to do the Command J, which is what I just did before to duplicate everything. We're just going to duplicate that little bit when we do that. Command J. Oh, I have to unlock the layer, sorry. Command J. And then, as you can see, we've created a layer with just this photo. I'm going to double click and call this one, I don't know, a monitor photo. I don't know. Because they're looking at a monitor. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to do this because we were going to keep this one. Again, I'm selecting from the template one and I'm doing Command J. And now I've got this little guy isolated. I'm going to call this one operating table or something like that. Right? Call it something. I'm going to slow down and help you guys with this, but I'm just doing it 3 times. So hopefully I'm going to the original template. If it was locked, because I had told you originally to lock it, you need to unlock it, right? This is how we locked it. You just unlock it by touching on that. And then we're surrounding what we do want and need, because this is our source material. So now we want this guy. Okay, and be careful because there's like, and if you need to get bigger, you can do that. Command plus, you know, so you can just get a bit bigger. But we're going to just make sure not to grab any of that stuff. So we're going to get big enough to just grab only this photo. And then say, once again, Command J. And this becomes Dr. Qureshi. Okay. So now if I turn off the template, I have 3 individual bits that we're saying that we're keeping. All right. If you have any questions of how I got here, please let me know. But if not, just work at it until you get to this. And by the way, save the file because now we've been doing a bunch of other stuff. And this one originally was not, you know, it's a different file that we're creating now. So I'm going to call this one, we already had one called source files. We're going to go ahead and call this one new or final source files. New source files is fine. Because we had called the original one that she made source files, but it didn't have the resolution for these images, which is this one.
I need
And
some
this
help.
one that, yeah. So just showing you, we had this one here. These files were tiny. And later, maybe I'll ask you where you got them from to see why they're so tiny. But now by making this one, we have something that hopefully will fit much better. So who said they needed help?
I do, Patricia.
Patricia. Okay, great. Mhm.
I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay, let me stop my share. Go ahead and share your screen.
um, yep, yep. Okay, so here,
Mhm.
selected.
Mhm.
So
Now, notice that on the layers, you don't have any layers selected. So select a layer first for it to have something to copy from. So you have to select a layer and it'll go gray, it'll go lighter gray or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you have something selected. Now you can do Command J. Or Control J because you're on VDI. There you go. See that?
yeah.
Now you have a template copy on top that we don't need anymore, so you might want to get rid of that one.
Oh, delete this one.
Select that one, yeah, and just click on that little delete. Right click and delete it, whatever. So that one now is your top one. I called it monitor because you see a big monitor there, monitor vet or something like that.
Monitor vet, you said?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Now go to the template again and now select the other one. You might want to zoom in because you want to make sure you're not missing anything. So zoom in, Command plus or Control plus because that otherwise. Oh, but you're zooming in your entire. Okay, back out again because what you're doing is you're zooming in your VDI. Back out because you won't see your entire program. Okay, now click on that layer. Click with your selection tool. Right now you're in like retouching tool or something. Go up to your selection tool. Yeah. And then, yeah. And then hopefully now you can say Command plus and it'll just, no.
Like me to make it bigger.
Never do that. Go ahead and say undo. It's
Oh.
completely undo. Escape. Completely undo. That is never, we don't want to expand. We just want to make this whole thing bigger. Try saying Control plus to zoom in, not to make anything bigger, but to zoom in. There we go. Okay, that's all. So now you need to move down a little bit to find the other stuff in that. Yep. And now go ahead and select around the second. Go with your selection tool and select around the. No, just the face.
Oh,
Just the face. And if you notice, you can't tell, but you've got some white from the instructions panel. So try again, click away again and get just much closer. So yeah, right there. And then right there. Yep, there we go. And then say Command Control J. That'll be Dr. Qureshi or something.
would that be?
Yeah, I don't see it. It didn't work. Go ahead and undo. See, there's no little circle there. So go ahead and say Command Z and Control Z and undo. Okay, so you're selecting your template. You're in the template layer. You're selecting that little tish. Okay, try again. Control Z, Control J. Go ahead and turn the eyeballs off of the other two because I'm not seeing.
It's
Turn off
super
that
tiny.
eyeball.
Mine's the same way.
Yeah,
It's super
turn off the
tiny.
yeah, but turn off the eyeball. But she's got a black line there, though. So turn off the eyeball of the template too. And just see what's left on that layer. Turn off the eyeball of the template, which is the bottom layer. Yeah. It's there. Okay, you just had that black thing around it that confused me, but it's there. Okay. Now turn on your template again. And now surround the other weird shaped photo, the one that's like a rectangle and a circle, the one where there's a surgeon there. That's the other one that we're going to keep. Go to your template, select your template. Yep. Select, and on the right side, you need to be selecting the template layer because that's where we're copying from. So on your layers, click on that layer. Click on that layer so it's selected. Perfect. Now go up and surround the second oblongish weird shaped photo.
This guy.
That one. Yeah.
Okay.
And now Control Z. Control J, sorry. Should try it again. If you did Control Z, you undid your selection, so go select it again. No, you have to be on your template. Oh, you did it. Okay, I was the one who was wrong. Okay, good, you did it. And now call that one, I don't know, I think I called this one surgery, surgeon table, operating table, I don't know, whatever, as long as you
Layer-
distinguish it. Fine.
Layer 2
Yeah,
can be surgery.
yeah, surgery, yeah. And then layer 1 is your, yeah, go ahead and cancel. That's because you double clicked on the layer instead of on the name. So double click on the name now. Not on the grade part, but on the name, yeah, and call that one surgery. And then the layer 1 is your Dr. Qureshi. All right, I'm gonna stop your share because you're good.
Thank you.
All right, is everyone else needing help? Give me a yes if you're all like, got it, I'm done, I'm fine. Or give me a raised hand or talk to me because there's a few of us and you need some help getting to this point. Okay, so Shelly on the chat said, my husband says it would be great if you can put a link for the email to register automatically when clicked so that the registry does not have to take the extra step to write down the email like you said. Other than that, no links. Okay, good. So I'm going to go and add that to our class, to our client notes, okay? Because at the end, we need to look over the client notes and make sure that everything that they requested is done. So I'm going to go up here and add that. So basically, I don't need to write the whole thing. I can just say, put a link to registry automatically. Okay. Other than that, no links. And so I think I had written in here something that said no links, but okay. And I'm thinking we can just turn this into all right. Is everyone with me as far as Photoshop? Patricia, you got them all. Libby, you got them all. Do you have these 3? Now, what we don't have is the new photo in this format, which we're going to need. So let's go and choose what the last photo is going to be. All right, so how are we going to do that? Let's go to Bridge. Oh, you still need the last one that's on the operating table. Okay, do you need help with that or you're just working on it? Or do you want me to help you with it? That's Libby who said something. Okay, I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to wait for you to answer. Meanwhile, I'm continuing. Here we are in Bridge. I need to move stuff out of the way. See Bridge. Now we have new photos. So this is the photo that was originally suggested, and we had a bit of a criticism. That said, I think that in the format where you cut and do that circle there, that could have worked, remember? And then we were going to try that, but in between, Shelly's husband sent some new ones. He sent this one, which is quite apropos, but it's so tiny file-wise. Then this one shows the monitor really well. Then this one, but again, it's so tiny. These look like taken from the internet or something, and I'm not sure we can reproduce them to the right size, maybe. And then this one. However cool to see the whole dog is, I'm not sure we see the apparatus too well. So I'm just going to nix this one, unless what matters is the monitor. But if what matters is the monitor, I'm thinking that, I don't know, do you guys have an opinion? This one, I'm almost tempted to the first one that we complained about to crop it like this and give it that circle shape. And if that works, it might be the better one if we don't need the monitor. But it seems that if your husband sent this one, then that means that they don't need the monitor. This one is the one that shows it best, but I'm not sure that this is big enough.
Yeah,
I
I like the first one if we crop it in and maybe lighten the dog's face.
Yeah. Who spoke? Was that Shelley?
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of agree. Let's do our best to see if that works as far as cropping. Does that make sense, you guys? Let's try that first. So, and if not, I think maybe this one is fine. It'll be hard to crop a circle around it without losing some of the dog or some of the hands. And this one would be fine if it were vertical, but again, you have to consider that the shape has to be that weird cut, which is really uncomfortable. But maybe we could cut it that way. And then this one would be okay for the cut. And this one I just don't see because the whole thing has to be working and you just can't cut any of this out without working. But this
You-
one, for better or for worse, we can.
You just sent me one last one. I don't know.
Okay, send it to me quickly and I'll see.
I did.
Meanwhile, everyone go over here and double click on this one. But since it's a JPEG, it'll open in Photoshop. So let's just double click on this guy. Boom. Okay, so now we have it open in Photoshop. And now I'm going to tell me when you've emailed it, okay?
I already did.
Oh, okay, let me go check.
We'd have to
Gosh.
erase a person in the background though. So that's,
Let's see. I'll just open it to see before I give everyone a chance to download it again. Well, this is actually kind of cool to imagine without, but not the monitor though. But the other one we're choosing doesn't have the monitor because we could do this straight there and a circle there. And you'd see all of this happening and you just cut off this person, you know what I mean? But not if we want to include the monitor, then there's no way to get everything happening, right? So it's just like we don't have monitor and tool for that bizarre shape that is being requested for some reason, which is this one. This is the shape that I'm talking about, guys, that I'm saying that we need to fit the whole thing in. Like this one shows tools and monitor. It's already there. So we have that. And here you see people and monitor-ish here. So I'm thinking that we should just focus on something that just focuses the animal now, like a bit more of a close-up of the tool. Didn't you guys agree to give a version that's different?
yeah.
You don't have to go with it with me. I'm just telling you how my brain thinks and I think of this stuff. So then the photo that was just sent will show us this, which might be good, and it might be a better shot than the one that we're trying for, which is this one.
I think the first one with the black dog. Is my,
This one?
Yeah.
This one? Okay. I'm between this one and the one that you just sent, but since everyone has this one, we're gonna go with this one. Okay, so everyone open it up in Photoshop. So we went to bridge and we double click on this guy. We're just gonna open it straight in Photoshop. Now, normally I would mask this in InDesign, but since the other two, we don't have the original files. All we have is this little bit of them. I'm gonna go ahead and bring the other photo in here and create the same mask on it, okay? So that would be probably the best way to go. So I just want an okay that everyone is here and that everyone has okay, I got it. I see what you said, Libby. All right. So let's grab this guy and just copy it. We can, there's so many ways to drag it over to the other file. The easiest thing is just to copy it by saying Command or Control A. So we select everything. Then we copy with Command or Control C. And then we go over here where we're doing all this work and we say Command or Control Paste. And here we go. We brought this guy in. Now we're going to create the mask for it, but first we just need to get it in there. When everyone has this photo in here, give me a holler, or instead of a holler, give me a yes with your reactions buttons. And then we'll continue. Moni, you have it in there, that yes is fresh, okay? I'm gonna wait for Moni and Shelly and Saul, because I know that Libby is kind of gonna be working at it at her own pace.
Can you do that again? Commander
Yeah,
Control.
so basically I just did Command or Control A. Are you on a Mac or on a PC?
Matt.
Mac, okay, so Command A.
How did you?
Command, the Command A is select all. Okay, so when you're in here and you just do Command A, that's what happens. All, it gets surrounded by the marching ants. Does that work?
Yep.
Okay, now say Command C for copy. Now go back to this guy and say Command V for paste. And now we got all three of our photos together.
Nothing happens.
What's that?
Nothing shows. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay.
All right, good. So now let's double click on this one and call this one, I don't know, close up. Close up dog, whatever. Just so that we have an idea, because later when you get a lot of files and you just don't, they're all tiny and you don't see what it is, it's really good to have these layers named. Now, we also need to bring in our doctor, and since this is the biggest that it's going to be, we're going to have to bring him in to be this size. So first, let's work on this mask, this shape, because this is set in stone. We don't have any way to recreate this in another shape. This is what was given to us. We had the original photo, we could propose a different design or something, but no, this is what we have. So how do we pick up this shape? Let's go to, I am imagining that this is square over there. Sorry, square over there and circular over here. See that? Like this direction, I'm thinking. So we're gonna pick this one up. It could work this way with the circle in there too. In a way, this one could work either way, to say the truth. Which one would be better?
I think the circle over the blanket.
Let's go with the circle over the blanket, and then if we don't like it, we can flip it. Okay, so let's select this layer. Now this layer is this guy that I called monitor photo. Monitor vet, or whatever it was called. Yeah? That's this one. If I turn it on and off just to make sure it's the right one, that's that shape that we're gonna do. Does that make sense? So in order to pick up that exact shape, hold on to your Command key. Patricia, you're on a VDI, so you hold your Alt key. No, your Control key. And give one single click onto the thumbnail. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. You hold down the Command or Control key for PC, and you click one time on this thumbnail, and notice and see that I now have marching ants around this shape. You see that? Y'all with me? I just want that shape. Now, I'm going to select my close-up dog, which is the one that I want this shape to come onto. And I need you guys to do this step by step with me, otherwise you'll get lost. Just pick up the shape. We don't want that photo, we just want the shape. We're going to our close-up dog. And on this one, we're going to add a layer mask, which is down in all these tools. It's the one next to the FX. And add a layer mask. Boom, one time. So now we have on the layer that says close up dot, we have that shape. It doesn't matter that we're not seeing anything right now. We have that shape. If you're there, you're good. Yeah. Photo seems to have disappeared, but you're good. Now, we're gonna just wait until you all give me the heads up that you're here or that you need help to do this.
Okay, so real quick, so I've selected the layer. I've done the marching ants from the monitor photo.
Mhm.
Then I click on the dog or the close-up. And then what is the command?
I go
Oh, that's
down
right.
to these
the-
buttons and it's the
it.
layer mask, which is the rectangular one next to the FX, that one.
Thanks.
And remember what a layer mask is, that when you add a layer mask, everything that's not inside of your section disappears. It's to cut things out. So we're going to cut out everything that's not in the layer mask. The only problem, so to say, is that the layer mask is not on the same space as the photo. So everything outside of this is being cut out. So now I need to put this hole over that photo. So to do that, I'm going to unlink mask from thumbnail. I'm going to click over here, click, and I'm unlinking mask from thumbnail. Okay. And now I'm going to go with my mouse on move, right? I'm going to grab this mask and I'm going to drag it over here to where I kind of know this photo was. Yeah. Photo's too big. We're going to have to make it a little bit smaller. But did that work for you guys? I know the mask was here, so I grabbed it from here and I moved it over. So this is what I'm moving. I brought it over to this photo. Does that make sense? I'm going to clean. On this one, I want to keep close track on you. So I'm just cleaning feedback. And again, I want clean yeses if you're with me. And I'm going to command 1 to go 100% to see it. This might be big enough, or we might want to get the photo a little bit bigger. I'm looking at get the drainage and the hands. This is extra. This isn't necessary. This is necessary. So maybe even this is good. Maybe we don't even need to go much smaller, but we do want to work on the color of that dog. I think we still need to make the photo a little bit smaller, but the mask has to say that it's the size because that's the size these are. We can't change the size of the mask. Does that make sense? So if we need to make this photo smaller, we need to grab the thumbnail of the photo right there. We're going to do a command or control T, and then maybe make it the photo now a little bit smaller. Does that make sense? So I'm working on these separately because I took the link off. We have not done this very often in class because it's kind of advanced. And so I'm hoping that you guys are kind of following through with me. But if you're very new to Photoshop, you wouldn't. But whoever's left in class here is not new to Photoshop. Saul, Shelly, and Moni. Patricia, you're kind of new. And if this is a little bit over your head, I'll walk you through straight step by step. Okay. So just let me know if you need help.
Yeah, I'm a little,
Basically,
yeah.
yeah. Okay. So I'm going to undo everything I've just done and I'm going to work on this with you. Go ahead and do this again. Tell me where you are and I'll do it one more time and then I'll have you share your screen and I'll do it together with you. But
Yep.
basically,
Okay.
what we want is this shape. A
Uh-huh.
shape is easy to pick up because it's already cut out by just command or control in your case and just single clicking the image that has the shape we want, which is this one. Tell me if you got to that point.
No.
Okay, so click select this layer, the one that's the monitor image. Select it means, click on it like that. Tell me yes when you did that.
Yeah.
Okay, hold down your control key now.
Mhm.
And now go to this part of the image, not the monitor photo, but this, the thumbnail, and just simply click your mouse one time. So control click. You should see now marching ants around this photo. Tell me yes if it worked, no if it didn't work.
Yeah.
Just speak to me. Yes, it worked. Okay, good. So all we wanted from this image was the shape. That's it. we don't necessarily want the photo. So we got what we wanted from it. Now, let's go and select the close-up of the dog. Did you bring the close-up of the dog into this file? Do you have this guy here?
No.
Okay, so we need to do that first, which means we got to back up because we don't want that selection while we're waiting. So go ahead and hit deselect or Command D to deselect. First, we need to bring in the photo of that dog.
Okay.
Did you open him? Do you have him somewhere in Photoshop? Or do you need to go to Bridge and open him?
I'm looking at Bridge.
Go in Bridge, dog endoscopy tool, just double click on that guy. And it will open in Photoshop because it's a JPEG. You could have just opened it inside the file, but at this point,
I was.
did you open it yet?
Which one? No, not yet.
I'm trying to show you instead of having you do it with me because when I have you do it with me, I won't have any way to demo. So I prefer demoing and you doing. But if you prefer to just share and I'll walk you through it, I can do that too.
Okay.
In Bridge, do you see this photo? All
No.
right, then share your screen. Okay. Oh, because in Bridge you left the folder. Yeah. So go to digital design. Okay. Go back to where you were. You were almost there, but you were in the wrong folder. So move back up to digital design techniques. There you go. Double click. Yep, right there. Double click digital design techniques. The folder. Yeah, and Shelley's husband. Click on Shelley's husband. Okay. So there, the first photo is that photo. Yeah, so double click on it and it'll open into Photoshop. Okay, now we're gonna select all. Just say got it, because that thing that's teaching you something is gonna stop you. Okay, say got it. Okay, say Command, or sorry, you're gonna see Control A, selects all. Control C will copy it. Okay, now let's go back to the file that we're working on. I believe is the one called source material. I'm not sure what you might have called it, but go up there at the top where you see the word dog and dust and just, yeah, click on that one. I think that's the right one. Nope. Then the one called untitled, which you probably haven't called anything. Nope. Okay, so hold on. Let's keep moving to the right. Put your mouse up there. Don't go. Yeah. Now keep going to the right where it said dog and dusk. No, to the right. Yeah. And now further those arrows. Yeah. Click on that one. And then where's the one that we were just working on? So don't you have? Oh, here it is. Here it is. I'm confused. You know why I'm confused? Because you have the template turned on. Yeah. So this is the right one. This is the right one. Be here. Just let it be. It's just that in your layers, go ahead and go to your layers and pull it down to make it a little bit longer. Go to the very bottom and go to the middle of that line. Yeah, and pull it down. Yeah. So turn off the template because when you see the template, you see everything. And that's why I didn't know that it was this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Good. So let's go ahead and go to your history and undo because you have a mask there that we don't need. So can you go into your history panel and say undo? Yeah, in your history panel, yeah, go click on your history. Good. And then back up one time at the very bottom. Yeah. All the way to the bottom. You can also make this one longer so you can see. Yeah. Let's go ahead and say add, go above add layer mask. One above that. Layer visibility. One above. No. Just click on the words, never on the click on there. Yeah. Right there. On that right there. Yeah, right there. Go for it. Good. Good. Now go and turn off the template again. Okay. Now go select the monitor vet. Okay, now you wait, you've pasted. Now you have it pasted. So now say paste. Command the Control V for paste. Control V for paste where we're bringing in the photo. Cool. You might want to move them over a little bit, get your move tool and just drag this photo over a tiny bit so it's not like the same place as the rest. Bring it down maybe a bit so it's not overlapping. Down there. Yeah, kind of there. Okay. Now, go and select your monitor vet layer. Okay, now hold down we're going to pick up that shape. So hold down your control key and then a quick click right where your mouse is right now on the thumbnail. Good. See how you have marching ants on that shape right now? See how there's marching ants, meaning that's active selection. Do you see that? Yeah. Okay. We're going to take that and we're going to go and down to select what's called layer 1 right now because we haven't labeled it yet, which is the final dog. Click on that. Yeah. Click select. Good. And now right under where you are, keep your mouse a little bit lower down and that one, we're going to make a mask. Just click one time. Single click. Perfect. So although it seems like it's disappeared, this is actually good because now this is the layer that we need to unlink the mask from the thumbnail. So click on that little chain link in between the mask and the thumbnail. Yeah, good. And now what you're going to do is you're going to go into the image. Now go, forget the layers, go into the image. Go grab that area that's got like the mask, the boxes around it, the area where you have your mask up at the top, the photo that you see that has, yeah, go into it. Yeah. And now you need to undo what you just did. Undo that move, unlink. Yeah, that's fine. You got to undo that. Yeah. Just go in your history and go one up in your history. That's there. Go one up to unlink mask. Yeah, and do that move that you did. Good. Now you need to be moving this mask and put your mouse like on top of that monitor picture. Like not make it change it. Just go to the monitor picture right there. Click on that and then drag that all the way down. Yep, to that one. Perfect. There you go. Release. Okay. Now, this is where I left you off and where everyone else was. This, I think that the photo is still too big to fit into that shape. See what I mean? Like I want to see it a little bit better. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I can't change the size of the shape. It has to remain the same shape, but the photograph is a bit too big. So on the layer 1, instead of having the mask selected, go to the left and select the thumbnail of the photo. Yeah, the photo. There you go. And now you're going to go to those corners, those handles that you have, and you're just going to make it a little bit smaller and start making it a bit smaller until you feel like you can see enough of the tool, the hands, and the head without putting in a lot of stuff that's unnecessary. Does that make sense? Now, make sure that the whole shape is filled because you might be getting to the very bottom of the photo, but yeah. Yeah, there we go. I think that's good. If that's good, just hit done or enter or return. All right, what do you guys think? You like it there?
Yeah.
Shelley, Moni?
How do you select the photo to move it around?
I'm going to do that now. I'm going to stop your share, Patricia, because you're doing good. This is exactly where we should be. So I'm going to go and share mine again. All right, so my Photoshop. So basically we're preparing all the source files, right? InDesign has been left in there, but it's just that until we have this ready to go, we can't do much. So here's what we did. I think I had done an undo here, but since you guys cut up, no, I have to redo it because I already went back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to select my shape, go down to, where's the dog? Close up of the dog, take my mouse, unlink, select my mask, and drag it over here. Okay, now this is where you were asking, Shelley. So this is the mask that I moved around. Cool. But in order to work on the photo, I click on this side. This is the photo. See that? Now, Patricia already had the handles turned on. I don't like working with that, so I have them on turn on. If you have them on, go for it. But if not, do Command T, and then I'm turning on those handles that she already had on by default. Then I'm just going to use this to make it a little bit smaller, put it in the middle to move it over to the left. Just find the place where I think that this is the best. That blanket used to bug me. Now it's just a little bit. The hands are important. The tool is important. The face of the dog is important. So find some spot where you feel that you've gotten rid of most of what's bugging you, but never click, never distort it, right? So right now, the way it's set up, you can just do this without distorting by going big and small until you find the right spot. And I think the right spot might be there where you're seeing the little pad of the blanket that does that, or none of it. I'm not sure about that, none of it. I mean, this focuses on the tool itself, and maybe better to not have that blanket at all, and just have where that blanket begins. So it's just dog, green. It's simple. It's green, blue tubes, and dog. And now we're going to go and lighten that dog a bit. But I think I like it there. When you find the spot that you like it, and you guys might have a different opinion on what you like, so you're welcome to do that. Just make sure that all your shape has photo, because if you go up, you don't have the full shape, right? So make sure that at the very least the bottom of this whole thing starts at the bottom of that shape, and then say done. And now at that point, we have our third image. Now, and this is important, now we don't want these to move independently. So now we go straight back and we link these two again. Okay, we click in here, and now this moves as one. Does that make sense? We had them unlinked where we brought them one over the other, but now that we've found the right spot, we click over here to create a link, and now that's it. That's our third image. Does that make sense, you guys? All good? This is something I haven't shown before. This is why I like real projects, because they make you do things that maybe you don't think of showing much. Only once or twice have I unlinked Max from thumbnail, because I said occasionally you need it, not always. And a couple of times people have asked about it, and I said, yeah, but it's rare that you need it. This is a perfect example of when you need it. All right. I am going to clear your answers, and when you guys have this cut out to your happiness, and this is linked again, and you have these three shapes, we're a go to do the last one. How are we doing? Give me a yes. Basically, right now I'm left with Moni, Shelly, Patricia, and Saul. Saul, you're working on this, right? You're here? Good.
Actually, I know another way, Diane.
Yeah?
to
Oh,
do
there's
the same
always
thing.
25 ways to do the same thing. Yes,
I know,
tell me
but
your idea.
Yeah, but I find mine a little bit faster.
Okay, go for it.
And,
What is
this
it?
one, this one, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good. I didn't know this one, but I learned another way.
Tell me about it. What's your way?
Once you have select the image that you want to replace, basically you bring the new image on top of the select one, and all you do is just press Alt and click, and automatically replace the image.
But I don't want to replace it. I mean, I hear you, but I don't want to replace it because this goes in the flyer. You weren't here at the very beginning. This one stays, and we needed to add one with that same shape.
Correct,
So I'm not
but you're not replacing that. That is still there underneath of the select.
All right,
image.
so what you're saying is, let me just get you right. You make a selection like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And then I paste inside of there.
Bring the dog
I
on top of the monitor photo.
Okay, so that implies that we already had this photo in here in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Bring
I
that
select
one.
there. I bring this in.
No,
No, I need to unlink.
you gotta do it backwards. Unselect. Bring the
Okay.
dog.
Bring the dog in.
on the palette, bring it above.
Oh, okay, so you
and-
put, you blindly kind of do this, then you cut the shape, and then you make your mask, right? And so there it is. So it's basically the same thing-ish, but yeah, basically the tools were the same. So in this case, I brought the mask to the photo, right? For you guys, I made the mask first and I brought it to the photo. What he's saying, and it's correct, I brought the photo to the area of the mask. You see that? Then you select the top shape to be the mask, and then you make your shape. And so now it's exactly the same thing, but it's backwards. I brought mask to photo, he brought photo to mask.
Correct.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, it's just order of the elements was shifted, no difference, one or the other. But yeah, perfect. Both are correct. Photoshop has 8,500 ways of doing things. I was thinking maybe it was a completely different one. In this case, it's the same one, but in a different order. So
Well, actually,
perfect.
yes, there is another one.
Mhm. Yeah,
There's
there's so
another
many.
one. But hey, I'm not gonna interrupt too much. Go ahead.
No, but it's good. I love, I mean, we have so much to keep doing in this thing that we don't want to take too much more
Yeah,
time.
well-
But in reality, it's really good to show options, in particular, because then people can see that there's variations to,
Okay.
and choices and options. So just
Sure.
quickly mention it
If
to
you
me,
don't
see if I
mind-
can
If you don't mind, I can show you the other one.
show. I'll stop my
Okay,
share and share it.
Okay, hold on.
Meanwhile, everyone, let's go and do the same thing for the doctor's photo. Open the doctor's photo. Okay, show me.
So I'm looking for my palette. Okay, so here, see, this is what I did right here. Basically, you close.
Yeah,
this
but
one.
you're eliminating, yeah, you don't want to eliminate that one. We need
I
that
know,
one.
but it's
huh?
not eliminated. See, it's right there. And basically,
Mhm.
this is the dog. I could bring it down here, and you can still see the image of the back. But if you bring this one to the top, you put your mouse right there and press Alt and click.
Yeah.
See the arrow?
Yeah. You're
That's
masking
right
it.
there.
You're doing a clipping mask, but see how I don't have the original vet photo anymore? I mean, this is fine too, but then you would have to duplicate the bottom new vet layer so that we keep that one and then you do it this way, right? Because see, we need 3 photos to end up with. We need the one that you're eliminating.
Well,
So we
yes.
would, it's fine. Now just go and duplicate the new vet layer. That's all you need to do. And then you'll have all 3. Go duplicate the
right.
new vet layer, go to
That's
new
right.
vet layer and just do Control J. The new vet layer, which is one under, no, not that one.
Oh.
Go under, undo that. Go the new vet layer, the one up, new vet layer, that one. Now do Control J to that one. Okay, and now separate it from that clipping mask, like grab the new vet layer. No, that one's stay clipped. Now go to the bottom one, the one that's not clipped, new vet layer there, click. Now move that out of the way and you'll see that you have that third one. So go to the, no, not there, just leave it there in the layers, it doesn't matter. Now go into in the art, put your mouse into the canvas. Put your mouse in the canvas now, not on the layers, move it into the canvas, go to the left, move it into the photos, click and drag out, and you'll pull out the other one. No, you need to be selecting the new vet layer, undo, select the new vet layer, not the copy, the new vet layer, there, and now drag it out. Oh, it's just that you have it on auto select. Ah, this is why I
You're
hate auto
right.
select.
Yeah, that's
Undo, because you have the auto select and it's forced. This is a perfect example of why I don't like the new auto select.
Exactly. You're right.
Unclick the auto select for a second so you can get this done. Go up to the very top and unclick it. Now you can grab new vet layer, grab up there and drag out. No, you keep going to the close-up of the dog, and even though you see the auto select, your auto select is turning on its own again. It's auto selected again. So this is why the auto select drives me crazy. Let's do it the other way around. Go ahead and do a Command T right now.
Right there.
Go ahead and let's see if it allows you now to drag the right one. This is precisely why I absolutely hate auto select, because when it's exactly under, you can't select it. I need to
I think I know.
Go
what
ahead
it
and, go,
is.
yeah, go ahead and lock that one. Yeah, lock those two. Good. Now select new vet layer, and now you can drag out, and you'll drag out the right one. Yeah, cool.
That's it.
There you're done. Now you have all three.
Mhm.
There's so many ways of doing things.
I know.
This is great to, I'm glad that you know all about clipping layers and you're doing that and you're thinking ahead, and I'm totally supporting you in this because yes, Saul is so advanced. He's just doing that in different ways, and that's what I want. And I want to encourage him to keep moving forward. But the basic learning of this is that you can do things 2,500 different ways. And many times you'll go to 5 different people and there'll be 5 different ways of doing the same thing. But as long as we all end up with the 3 images, we're good. So yeah, all the ways that everyone mentioned is that Zola mentioned and that I mentioned is working. Cool. I'm sharing my screen again. The end purpose is that we have all 3. We still have only one of these guys. So let's go over to Bridge and let's do exactly the same thing that we just did, right? We're gonna double click on this guy, open him up. Control or Command A, copy. In this case, we don't even need everything. We can just copy his head. Not very close up, but we know that it's only his head we want. So we can just select this part of the face, say copy, then head over here and say paste. And we brought his face in only this time instead of the whole thing like that. And now, whichever you want to use, Saul's way or my way, or if you even just want to create your own new little circle, but then you'd have to make sure that it measures exactly the same thing as this one, right? Because I can just go ahead and make a circle that's the same size, which is what I'm doing right now, which just might be the hardest way if you're not comfy with creating, and then put it over his face. But I'm going to go ahead and say that the easiest way is to say, click on Dr. Qureshi, Command click, take that circle, okay? So this is Mr. What's his name? Other doctor. I don't know his name. The other doctor. And we're going to give him a mask. And then I'm going to just go grab that mask. Unlink that. And bring this guy over his face, which as you can see is going to be way too small. So then we go to the face. I'm going to let you guys do this one on your own. It's exactly the same as what we did before. I'm going to let you guys finish this one because I know that we're almost done. I want to show you a few more things, but basically we can do this guy anytime we want, but here we go. I have done it A, B, or C ways. We've got our other doctor. We're going to increase up again. And now don't forget to save because this is, we've done a lot of work in here. This is going to be our source files, and the original source files that Shelly had given us. We're going to use the text from here, okay? This logo is tiny. Can you get us a bigger logo? I mean, I want to have us do this in Illustrator. If we have time next week, that's my goal. But I also am aware that we're getting close to the end, and in case we need to drop in the logo as is, can you ask your husband if he has an actual logo? Because this is so little and tiny. The way you put it in here is kind of useless to us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll ask him, but he said he didn't think he had anything, but he has to.
Okay, this is his company, or?
Yeah, well, he works for them. Yeah, he works for them.
Because at some point somewhere he should have a better logo. I mean, when he gave it to you, did he give it? Because look at how it's like, this is like not even a couple of pixels big. I can't imagine that there's no other place where he has this logo bigger. Where did you take this one from that you put it here?
The original PDF.
So it's a little box. It's not even the logo itself. So we might be better off trying to recreate it. Yeah. Yeah, see, it's a little white box around it, so it's not the logo itself. So, but if this is the original PDF, we can just copy it from here, which is bigger. Okay, so we can just take it like we did before. Let's do this last thing. Then let's go over here and do just like we did that we copied things. Let's go and select around this guy and do a Command J. And there we go. Now we've separated the logo. Okay, and this is going to be stores logo. And in case you don't remember or how, I'm going to just do that again. I went back and did what we did at the beginning with the other photos. I turned on the template, selected this, and don't try to select the edge. Just put your mouse like in the way out here in the black area and drag up so that it goes exactly to the edge, because that's what you need. And then say Command J. And there it is. You've isolated just the logo, turn off the template, and there it is. Okay. So now we have all of our art, all off of the initial template. And it's fine. I think that when you did this off of the original template, somehow you got the resolution change or something. And that's why in the source file that you sent, everything got so tiny. So all I did is open it up again and kind of cut them all out individually, but bigger. Does that make sense? So that we can use them in the final files. Okay. Ask me if you need help for any of this. In fact, to make these two faces match, we might need to make the face a little bit smaller because that guy's face is smaller. So I'm going to go to other doctor and link this, and just for it to look a bit more paired up, you know, so the faces don't look more important or less important. I'm just making him a little bit smaller and showing a little bit of his suit, kind of like what's happening there. That's just being picky and perfectionist. All right. Oops. Do you guys need help to do this one or this one? This guy or this guy? And by the way, that is one thing that if you can't, I can help you right now, but otherwise this is exactly the same thing I did before. So you can also go to the recording and practice, but I'll walk you through it. Who said yeah?
Oh, it was me, but I can definitely. Yeah.
No, that's okay. So Shelly, all I did was imagine that everything is turned off except for the template. So this is that template. Select the template. I'm starting with the stores, the logo. And then just drag across and then finish it down here, way up. Don't try to finish it on the edge or you won't get it all. Way to the bottom.
I got that. I just didn't get Dr. Watkins.
Oh, Dr. Watkins. Okay. So Dr. Watkins, what I did was I went and opened his, I went to Bridge and double click to open his JPEG.
Yep, I have him.
Okay. And then in Photoshop, I just selected, you know, the stuff that I knew would be in the photo. We don't need his whole body. So I selected about this much. And copy, Command C or Control C. Everyone else who didn't get this done, please keep seeing. All I did was copy this guy. And I went into our source files and did a paste. Here he comes, did a paste. And this is the layer that, this is the circle, basically, that he needs to fit into. And yeah, I know, 5 minutes to the end of class. Are you with me now? Up to now?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay. So just like before, we picked up this shape by doing a command click. This time we want to pick up this tiny little circle from Dr. Qureshi. So I'm going to hold out command, and for Patricia it would be a control, and just click on the Dr. Qureshi. And there's my circle. See that? It's equivalent to when we did this to get that shape, only we're doing this to get this shape. Is that working?
No.
Okay, so share your screen so that I can walk you through it. Share screen button, and then the next button on the right, share with blue.
Oh, I got
blue
it.
button with the right letters.
I'm good.
Oh,
I got it.
You got it?
Mhm.
Okay. So let me reset my share. Okay. So once you got that little circle, then go back to the new Dr. Watkins and add a little mask to it. Now we're masking away the photo that we want. The only little hole we're seeing through is that little hole. So unclick, and with your mask selected, go and grab from here and start putting it over where you know you had the guy. Now
Wait,
we
my
center it on his nose.
My mask is white, not black.
That means you didn't have the selection made. So let me undo. If you have this selection made, if you have marching ants around this guy, your mask should be white with a white circle. If you don't have a selection made, then you would have a white mask. Yeah, so try again this portion. Hold down your command key and click on the thumbnail, not on the name of Dr. Qureshi. And check and see if you have marching ants around the face.
Ah, got it.
Got it. Now on Dr. Watkins's layer, add your layer mask, unlink the layer mask, and then go grab that shape and drag it over to kind of where you know this guy's face is.
And I added the layer mask by clicking on
that little box on Dr. Watkins's layer. Okay.
Okay.
Then you add a mask on that layer, and then you unlink it, and then you go grab from here and drag up the mask until it's somewhere on top of his face. You need to kind of remember where you have that guy's face. This is the part that so we did exactly the other way around, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's one way or the other. I kind of knew where I had put this guy. Did you find him now?
Yeah.
Okay. And now, of course, the guys, this is the circle we need. We can't change the circle size. So all we can do is change the face size. So now I'm going to go in my layer to the side where I have my guy's photo. And then on that one, I'm going to do the Command or Control T and begin to make him smaller, smaller until we fit him into this tiny circle. I'm going to show a little bit of neck and tie to match this guy. Hit return. But the thing that you never need to forget, you guys, once you unlink, once you're done, you never need to forget to relink again. Because if you leave it unlinked, next time you want to move and boom, it all goes out again, right? So now you link it again, and now you're ready to move it around and put him next to Dr. Watkins and Dr. Qureshi. Do we know who needs to go above the other, for chance?
Dr. Qureshi should probably be on the top, but it does not a huge.
That's fine. We'll do that when we get into the actual InDesign. Right now, all we wanted is all the parts and pieces, which we have. I have two of Dr. Watkins, so I'm going to throw one away. We have the logo and we have the 3 images. Make sure to save. So the only other things we have here is all the text. And all this text is stuff that we're going to bring in the future. Now, something I'm curious about is all this white stuff that you left there. Oh, it's a lot of lorem ipsums and lorem ipsums and lorem ipsums. Okay, so in the original one, you have a lot of text that we're not using. Let me go over here. It's all these guys up there.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna clean that out. So that's okay. So this is it. We're gonna leave it there. We're gonna make sure that you all have this set up with our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 images, which normally we wouldn't have in one PDS layer, but we would have 5 images that we bring into InDesign. But the thing is that we haven't had, we're picking it up from an existing flyer. So we're just cutting it out of that flyer. Does that make sense? Ideally, you would have been given these 5 photos and this logo, and in InDesign, you just go place photo, place photo, place photo, place logos. But we had to create those we had to create those images. All right. That's where we've gotten. We will complete, now it's easy. Now it's just, we have all the source files. We have the text, we have the photos, we have this created, the new vet flyer layer has been created. All we need to do is bring in all the images and lay down the text. We're going to do that next week. Okay. Any questions? Anyone whom I left behind? Anyone who needs help? Patricia, how did you do? All good?
Almost there. I guess
Okay.
I'm a straggler.
No, that's okay. But since what we just did is kind of a repeat,
Yeah,
and it's not like it's new, I'm gonna let you kind of figure out on your own or watch the last part of the recording. I will put the recording up as soon as I can.
super.
And we will start right from this point, and I'm gonna put this file that I just created in our handouts folder, and I'm gonna actually call it catch-up folder, so that if people show up next week and they don't have it at this point, you can just download the one I made and then you'll have it. You know what I mean? So if for any reason you're not in the same state, you will have it. And anyone who joins us next week that didn't come today will have the material too. Okay?
Okay.
Check in with your husband if there's anything else new or different or whatever that you want with all these questions that I asked. You can now look at it again critically and say this and that. And one thing we didn't do is maybe make that dog photo a little bit lighter too, the dog part, so the face is a bit better, but you might need to remind me that. I'm gonna put it on the notes. But yeah, there you go. I'm gonna put in the notes, lighter black dog a little bit. Okay. And then,
Thank you so much.
okay, you're welcome. Bye-bye. See you
Bye.
guys next Friday. And don't forget that if you have a chance to sign in, please, to the digital design, digital newsletter, which by the way, for anyone who's taken this class, I'm pretty sure that's something you want, to say the truth. Then that'll make sure that class doesn't cancel. Let me go get you the CRN for that,
So you're saying to register for it.
to register for it. Sorry, yeah. Let me go get you the CRN, that way. I don't have to guess and let you do it. Let me just give it to you. 7, 6, 7, 6, 3, 6, 3, 9. Log in. And there it is. It's producing a digital newsletter. I only have 11 people. They are definitely gonna close that up. So here's the CRN. Producing a digital newsletter. There you go. I put it in the chat. Okay, so if you're not signed up to that yet, please do so.
So I just want to
I'm
say that
seeing your
that
names.
class is what helped me make the program for the Jazz Festival.
Oh, the producing a digital newsletter is the one that helped you do that program. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And it would have helped you with things like this flyer too, for example. Anyway, I'm looking at the roster and I'm seeing that Moni, you are signed up for that. But and Sujin is signed up for that. But no one else who's in this class is signed up for that. Shelly, you're not signed up for that. For even if the time doesn't work or whatever, please sign up. Because, and Saul, if you're still here, if you can sign up for that, please. If we
I
get
will.
three
I will.
more people or 4 more people, they'll let the class go, because I'll beg. Truly, I need 17 minimum, and I have 11 right now, so I still need 6 people. So if I get 2 more of you guys, Shelly and Saul, that's up to 13. I don't know, we might make it.
You
Okay.
got it. We're gonna make it. Have a great weekend.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Get your sons, your daughters, your kids, your baby kids. No. No, but maybe sign in your husband, Shelly. Anyway, okay. Bye, guys. Thank you. Take care.